Jason Minix, Rob Thompson, the Blitz.
It is the Blitz. Welcome aboard. You're on ESPN San Antonio. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. Comfortably ensconced in our social distanced pads, our O'Reilly Auto Parts Mobile Studios. Excuse me, I'm being nibbled on. I'm under attack. How's your day going, Jason?
Apparently not as good as yours.
Gotta. We'll just move right along.
All right, just say it. You know that. Pledge, can you start the open again?
Just
take
Jason Minix, Rob Thompson, the Blitz.
We'll fix this in post, right?
Yeah.
It is the Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, on the go at ESPNSA.com. You ever have one of those moments? Deja vu? Jason Minix, Rob Thompson with you. James Pledger sitting in the glass box of fun. 2.5 hours of fun headed your way. I'm going to get out early again for the Rangers. Nice little win last night. Lots to talk about today. The NBA in full scale. Breaking news with the Portland Trailblazers. We're going to talk about a lot about the NBA as we're winding down that first round. And I think the idea of who was good beforehand is starting to prove that they are, in fact, still good. And we'll talk about what's going on right now. No early basketball today, Jason. I'm spoiled, bro.
Uh-huh.
I'm spoiled rotten. I was legit upset that I got up and I was changing the channels. 12:30. It's time for basketball on a Tuesday afternoon. You expect live playoff basketball at 12:30 Central Time on Tuesdays. I mean, that's what I thought the new normal was. And man, it's gone and it sucks, man. I'm all about that. This needs to be something that we keep. A nooner playoff game.
I mean, it'd be nice, but eventually those teams get eliminated and we lose some games.
We'll keep one game. One game a week, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock on a Tuesday.
Make the non-playoff bubble teams, sacrifice play middle of the day.
No, I want a playoff game. I want something that matters. I want something like this. It's Tuesday afternoon. We're all huddled around the TVs anyway. It'll be like PE class for the kids. It'll be like sociology for the kids. You put that on.
If you were home teaching your kids, that'd be the only class they'd be educated in. And so why not?
I can think of worse subjects.
Let's watch some basketball. There's some afternoon baseball. Astros off to a good start today. As they try to figure out things.
Hey, what the hell's San Diego's problem? Why does San Diego keep picking on the Texas teams like this? What's their deal?
It just
they spanked the Rangers. They spanked the Astros. Fernando Show Me Your Tatis becomes a world hero.
Uh-huh.
And man, did you see the catch he made yesterday? This guy's a 5-tool type. You know what I mean?
The good news is that the Texas teams, at least this week, are done with the San Diego's. The Astros have the Los Angeles Angels, Anaheim of California, whatever. They're up 5-0. Yeah, Orange County. Rangers get the A's later on today. So
Springer play?
I don't know. I don't know. I was up really late last night watching hockey. Incredible hockey. If you're not watching the hockey, the basketball last night, I know you guys would rather watch bad basketball than flip over to great hockey.
Springer didn't play. He was relaying the fact that Springer taking that 95-miler off the elbow and kept him out today. He's human. All right.
Did you guys stick and watch that 38-point blowout last night in basketball?
I did. I should have changed the channel.
I changed.
I should have.
I changed the channel.
It had gotten to the point where quite frankly, the game was on, but I was full on into Candy Crush by then, man. I had to.
Are you my wife?
So I was all the way down, man. I get about 30, 35 minutes of my candy time. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Vince Trevino's a Vegas Knights fan. Are they back to their OG form of 3 years ago?
No, but I'll tell you what, the Dallas Stars and Colorado Avalanche series has been phenomenal. Dallas last night down 2-0 early, 4 goals in the second. They hang on, they get the win. They're up 2-0 in the series to steal home ice in the bubble. But it's been great hockey, stars, and so much better than the basketball. And kind of one of those you want to flip back and forth. And obviously, the interesting part of last night's game when it was 24-8, but that was not a good basketball game. And now you've got a crisis in the bubble that Adam Silver's got to deal with teams now saying we might not play.
On the aftermath of the Jacob Blake shooting in Kenosha, Wisconsin, the ripples through the professional leagues are already being felt. Detroit, the Lions today chose not to practice, posting a big sign out front in solidarity with the BLM movement and then in solidarity with the Blake family, the awful shooting that we've all seen on videotape. The instance yet again raising the head of the activists with the NBA players. We felt like we'd found this medium of the message was being sent, but playoffs and the importance of we're ratcheting up. Now players are going to be questioning whether they're going to even want to play here. And I don't think this is not something that's going to go away rather quickly. There is some concern that there might be a delay, some sort of strike, a no-show for a game or two here in the next 24 or 36 hours. So we'll make sure we're following that, and we'll talk NBA as the games get going a little bit later today. We're going to hear a lot from Jerry Jones today. In the aftermath of the Earl Thomas availability, there had been word that by at least one, Ian Rappaport, that this was a done deal. It wasn't going to happen. They weren't talking. Well, Jerry spoke today on a variety of subjects, the Earl Thomas front and foremost, but other parts of the Cowboys as well. We'll talk a lot of Cowboys with your AA Best Bail Bonds Dallas Cowboy training camp coverage getting going at 4:30. Usain Bolt just turned 34, went to a throwdown great birthday party where no one brought a mask, and guess what his present was? Testing positive for COVID-19. That's a story unto itself, but how it was broken by, was this NBC?
NBC.
NBC News.
They put the story up, but the photo is not of Mr. Bolt. Instead, it's Mr. Hart.
They, for some reason, and we'll talk about it. Usain Bolt's photo was not included with the story, but Kevin Hart's was.
It is so bad on so many different levels. Yet it's kind of funny.
It is funny and awful, and we're going to talk about that for absolutely Kevin Hart. And we're kind of burying the lead. John Machota is going to join us at 5:30. News could fall at any moment, Jason, that Earl Thomas becomes a Dallas Cowboy. But with every passing moment, you just get the feeling that timing did just not match up with these two parties. It's just not going to happen for lots of reasons, though Jerry says it's still on. But you just feel like while negotiating through the press might be his method, it doesn't feel like it's going to happen because there is a desire for his services elsewhere. There are teams looking for safeties.
But nobody is blowing up his phone that we can tell, and that's the crazy thing. Is you look at Delpit today goes on IR. Could the Browns be interested? He would be perfect in the Patriot system, and it would be Belichickian to sign him for pennies on the dollar, which he will get there. But I think when you look at what happened in Seattle, what happened in Baltimore, and whatever his price demand might be, he needs to be unemployed for a little while to bring that price tag down, to humble him. And I don't know if that is going to happen. And look, the Cowboys passed on him once because his price tag was too high. They never really pursued Jamal Adams because the price tag was too high. They don't spend money on safeties, yet today the Arizona Cardinals made a dude that has never intercepted a pass the highest paid safety in NFL history.
I stand by this. I think great teams have great safeties. You don't have to have one to be a great team, but it seems like every great team I recall had a pretty damn good safety. So I think money where you place it is important, but I also look at what other teams have done, and it seems to have worked for them. We'll hear from Jerry on the value of a safety today. Lots of insight there. Before we head off to break and come back talking NBA, last night, did you guys see the video of the Diamondbacks dude get plunked in the back of the head while running to second?
He didn't get plunked in the back of the head. He was looking for the ball and put his head in the way. He headed the baseball.
It's all kind of how you perceive it. But the fact of the matter is, why is that wrong?
Well,
He's part of the field. If the only way
he's in the base path, and he intentionally put his head in the way of the baseball as opposed to moving his head out of the way.
If you're allowed to dive in and get hit by a pitch, you should be allowed to dive in front of a ball headed towards second base before you come in. I don't see the fundamental difference here. In fact, I think it adds a fair amount of excitement.
Well, look,
the guys that could run fast backwards coming off of first after the ball has been overthrown and they're having to get it to second, if you could run backwards fast and see the ball and like jump in front of it, dude, it adds a little bit of athleticism, a little bit of excitement to what can otherwise be just an error.
Might have made Dion the best baseball player of all time.
I'm just saying. I mean, there's possibilities here that I think baseball is missing.
Well, see, here's the problem. That's actually a written rule. I mean, we bitch enough about the unwritten rules in baseball. Now we want to bitch about the ones that are already written down.
I just don't see a problem with a guy moving his head to block a ball. I mean, he's putting his body on. I mean, he's sacrificing his body for the team. He's laying it out for him.
So
give him some credit. Give him the base.
You want to reward stupidity?
No, that's stupidity. That's heroism.
No, that's
in front of a dude that's gunning it to second.
That's stupidity.
Is it stupidity to take a ball off the hip to advance a runner to third?
Nope, that's a hip.
Well, then it's not stupidity to put your head out to advance your guy to second.
Dude, if a pitcher can get tossed for throwing at some guy's head, I don't think you should be allowed to put your head in the way of a baseball.
Well, I'm not saying it's a wise idea, but you shouldn't be penalized for it.
Well, again,
especially when you're running, you can't really even see.
No, he was looking for it, and then timed it perfectly. I mean,
think about how hard that is. I mean, think about how important that could be to a game. You might not be able to hit, but you can take one off the melon. You might be the 18th guy on the roster, man. Maybe your head is maybe you got a Sam Darnold head. Maybe you've got a melon so big they couldn't throw around you, and you're always the pinch runner. Put them on first, man. They might overthrow, and they'll never get it to second. Got to get it over that billboard they call a head. Think about this.
You're
actually that's a dumb rule. It really is. I couldn't believe now I appreciate that he went for it, that he moved his head to try to block it. I appreciate that, but you get hit by a ball, man. It's not your fault.
Well,
it was his fault. In that case it was.
Yeah.
But I've always had a problem with that one.
If you get hit in the I mean, look, make it a little bit of dodgeball out there. You know, maybe you should get 2 outs if you could pick the runner off on the base path. Yeah, I mean, you're hitting a moving target. Although
I'm also, if you can gun it from right field and hit a guy headed toward third, out. I mean, and maybe varying degrees of out. Like if you hit him in the back, it's 1 out. But if you hit him in the back of the head, that's 3 outs, man. Inning's done. I'm an idea guy. I'm not saying they're all popular. I'm not saying they're all work.
How many baseball players are like dove hunters? Yeah, you know what I mean? Because that's what it becomes. It becomes target practice. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, just my thoughts to improve baseball. I didn't like that, although I appreciate the dude trying to block it with his melon. That is a guy who was down with your team. He's down with your team, man. That's a ride or die player right there. Take it off your melon. Got it, coach. I'll be right back. Let's come back, talk to some NBA. Huge news for Portland. It's going to be a rough night as the Bear has awoken. We'll look at what's going on tonight and look at what happened last with the NBA. Hang on tight. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com. As I sit here Tuesday afternoon, it was just about a week ago, I tweaked my back yet again. I hit it yet again. And when I do something like that, I've got to go ahead and call my buds over to Rusty. Well, this time I knew what I had done. I took the training that I had gotten from Rusty, and I just about fixed myself. Now, certainly needed a little bit of help, but I'll tell you, the techniques that I was taught by my Rusty provider have come to pay. It actually did work. The bands and the lacrosse balls and all that are used there, I got a couple and I used it and it worked. And that's on those tips and tricks that you can see at Arosty.com. Now, Arosty spelled a little bit different, AIRROSTI.com. What this is a non-invasive procedure that helps your body fix itself. I am living proof. I am back in the game because I used what Arosty has taught me. If you're living in pain, if you've got a bad back like I do, or a bad knee, frozen shoulder, everything from plantar fasciitis in your feet to tension headaches to the back of your neck and everything in between, Arosty can take care of it. Not a long-term program. This is short-term success. On average, under 4 visits gets Arosty patients back in the game. Here's the number that you need. 1-800-404-6050. Again, 1-800-404-6050. Arosty 1250ESPN.com is the website. Give Arasti a call. Get yourself back in the game. People ask me all the time, why should I go see an Arasti provider? I tell them the same thing. It's because they fix pain fast.
There's only one way to do Saturdays with the Saturday Morning Hangover. James Pledger and Jack Thompson getting you ready for all the weekend's games and then some. Saturday mornings 9 to 11, 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Jason Minix here for Alamo Water Softeners, a great locally owned family-run business by the Townsends. At Alamo Water Softeners, you know they love supporting our community and the military, which is why they're a proud sponsor and collection point for Operation Interdependence. If you have items you want to donate to our troops, drop them off at Alamo Water Softeners there at the corner of Thousand Oaks and Wetmore. And if you need a water softener, and we all do in San Antonio, call Alamo Water Softeners at 210-274-6122. Not only will you get soft water, but you're going to save money. You see, an Alamo Water Softener can double the life of your appliances, and you'll see a 20 to 30% savings on energy used by your water heater. When you call them and mention my name, Jason Minix, you'll receive free basic installation. You'll also get a free reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of select new Alamo Water Softeners. Alamo Water Softeners is the kind of company you want to do business with. Your all-in-one water solution. Remember the Alamo Water Softeners. 210-274-6122 or alamowatersofteners.com.
Nobody beats the low prices at Mother's Window Tint, your car, stereo, and auto security headquarters. Nobody beats our prices on high-quality performance window tint and expert installation. It's essential to protect yourself and your family from the sun's hot rays and car thieves. Save $100 off regular winter prices when you purchase the Mother's Window Tint and Alarm package. This is a deal. Save $100 off our regular winter prices now at the start of summer. Limited to stock on hand. For 36 years, Mother's Window Tint, home of the Tint and Alarm Special. Want to make your car go thump, 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 mother thump. Premium car stereos on sale. Sony, Kicker, JVC, JBL, Diamond, Kenwood, Memphis Audio, all on sale. GPS, remote start systems, all on sale. Save $100 on the Mother's Window Tint and Alarm Special. Nobody beats the low prices at Mother's Window Tint, your car, stereo, and auto security headquarters. Mother's Window Tint, home of the Tint and Alarm Special. Remember, do it at Mother's and save.
Ready for a positive 2020 surprise? Here's one from Diamonds Direct. The return of our best offer ever. 5 years, zero interest financing. Yes! Starting Monday the 31st, backed by popular demand. Pick any item. Get the amazing value price Diamonds Direct is known for. Pay nothing down and spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest. And you can even finance the sales tax. Fine jewelry has never been more affordable. 5 years, zero interest on anything and everything starting September 1st at Diamonds Direct. Get details, directions, and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
Hey, this is Joseph Newgarden. As a two-time IndyCar Series champion, I love that we're all getting back in our cars and back on the road, stopping at all the places we missed most. And to keep us going between those stops, there's Shell. Stop in to fill up with their best fuel ever. Save with the Fuel Rewards program. And to get snacks and essentials that can save you even more at the pump. That's just a few of the ways Shell helps you make the most of the stop you need to make. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
Foot odor thrown off your game? Stick to a winning game plan with Odor Eaters. Featuring 3 advanced odor and wetness fighters, the lineup provides long-lasting odor control plus more to keep your feet on their game. Odor Eaters powder provides outstanding moisture control. Clear drying spray is the MVP in preventing athlete's foot, while insoles work continuously to manage wetness while adding a layer of comfort. Pick up today at Walmart, Target, CVS, Dollar General, or other fine retailers. Odor Eaters. Destroy foot odor with the best in odor defense.
It is the Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM on the go at ESPNSA.com. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. If you need an aggressive, experienced litigation attorney you can trust, call Jason Thompson. Since 1994, he's represented individuals and families in and around San Antonio to get through some of the toughest times in their lives. The number to remember is 210-900-0400 or go to a lawyerforus.com. No afternoon game, which Kind of sucks for us homebound types, but we do get some playoff basketball yet again today. Late breaking news, Dalla Dame appears to be out for tonight, and this might be the end of the playoff run for Dame after he tweaked a knee. We all saw it happen. Not surprised a bit that he's not going to be able to play, although I do know he would have done everything possible to get there, the warrior that Dame is. But it almost looks like a foregone conclusion.
Well, yeah, he's actually ruled out for tomorrow's game against the Lakers. Although Kristaps is out tonight for the Mavericks against the LA Clippers. 2 games on the docket today: Utah, Denver at 5:30. Rob, and then you got Dallas and that team with that guy coming up at 8. And the Mavs won the other day without him. Can they do it again?
With the glory that is Luka. Let's look at the league in general. The shooting in Kenosha, Wisconsin, is going to be part and parcel to what the NBA is going to be speaking of and doing things about over the next several days as the Black Lives Matters movement continues. His name is Jacob Blake. He's a man that was shot 7 times by a policeman. We saw the video. He's sits in a hospital right now in critical condition by account of his father or a family member. He's paralyzed from the waist down. We heard that the Raptors early on were already considering some sort of walkout, some sort of, I don't know what to call it, quite frankly, Jason, but not playing. And I get the feeling that this is something inside the bubble that is going to be kind of percolating here for the next 10, 12 hours.
It's interesting because I saw Mark Spears was on ESPN earlier today, who is in the bubble, talking about the conversations that are going on inside the bubble. Now, as far as the Raptors, they had a couple of team meetings and discussed a variety of ways on how to respond to the shooting of Jacob Blake, including maybe not playing against the Celtics on Thursday. Fred VanVleet said, at the end of the day, if we're going to sit here and talk about making change, then at some point we're going to have to put our nuts on the line and actually put something up to lose rather than just money or visibility. And I know even George Hill and all the Milwaukee area teams all the way up to Detroit with the Lions today skipping practice, but especially, the Green Bay Packers and their messaging, the Brewers and the Bucks that are in the bubble. You get a guy like George Hill talking about what are we doing here? What has changed in the 3 months since George Floyd? And one of the things that Mark Spears said, and I totally agree with this, is if you weren't in the bubble playing right now, George Hill, you would not have a voice that anybody would hear. Your superstar players certainly would, but your secondary and role players would not. You can still carry a message inside the bubble by playing these games.
But they would have had the platform. I think that there's the guilt level now for some of these guys that feel like maybe I should have been back home leading this movement, being more a part of the street movement than holding up in a bubble and talking about it once a day when a reporter asked me through a Zoom meeting. I think that there's this growing concern that what have we done here? We had this platform, we let it go, and we thought it would start to get better, and it hasn't. I'm worried about the next 24 hours, and for a lot of reasons. And basically the least of which is whether they play or not. But I do think there's genuine concern inside the NBA ranks that one of these teams might go, not tonight, not in this environment. I'm not going to play. And if one goes, I'm not sure how the rest can kind of stand and play. It's going to be an interesting idea that Silver is going to have to address. And there is a crisis control committee that's already been in meetings and working with player reps and teams about this, because if you don't feel like you're being heard, you always have to turn up the volume. And maybe these players are starting to think like they're not hearing us at all. And what's the next step? What's the next thing they can do? Well, the next thing they can do, apart from talking about it every opportunity and showing it at every opportunity, is to literally withhold service.
And again, it certainly is a possibility. I mean, you saw Chris Paul last night. As soon as the game was over, first question asked, he didn't even answer. He went straight to the shooting. You saw LeBron's comments last night, and you see that video, and you just sit there in disbelief. Like, seriously, with everything that we've talked about and seen in the news for the last couple of months, that happens again. And, his kids were in the car. How scary for all involved. I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know if not playing a game sends a different message than playing the game. I don't know if, having Black Lives Matter on the court and various phrases on the back of the jerseys, has it lost a little bit of its impact because it's been there now for several weeks? Should they change up the messages on a game by game basis? I don't know what the answer is. It feels like, although the actions in Wisconsin yesterday say maybe not, but it feels like we've moved the conversation. But clearly, there's still so much that needs to happen. But I mean, for the life of me, you watch that video and you go, I can't believe what I just saw. I cannot believe what I just saw.
His name is Jacob Blake. A policeman shot him in the back multiple times in front of his kids. That's enough. With the NBA tonight, first of all, let's look back to the LA and the Mamba Black and all that went into that game. Certainly they were going to be fired up in memory of the hero of the Mamba, but my goodness, what impressed me more than anything else, Jason, is the defense that they can apply when they decide to go get it, and how well Caruso played against Dame Lillard. Now, Dame is going to be done, but I think we're starting to see why, coming into the bubble, the Lakers were the prohibitive favorite, because they're fully capable of playing in every facet of the game as well as anybody. And they can do just about anything they want to do because they can D you so well. You can't get what you're accustomed to getting.
I look at the Lakers right now, and they look like the team that we thought they were coming in, that they look like a championship team, and they still don't have Rondo, and they're not going to get Avery Bradley. But when, LeBron had 10 the other night because Anthony Davis went off. Last night, what do you have, 30 and 10? Yeah, and again, it's what did you say earlier in our meeting? The bear has been awakened, and, they look like that team. The Clippers, I look at the West. Who can challenge the Lakers right now with what you've seen in a week?
Utah is the only team that's going to offer a team that's got enough at every position to be competitive. But can they beat the Lakers? No. Can they win a game or two? Maybe, I think. But no, there's nobody in the way in the West. But again, we don't know what the Clippers are. I can't figure out for the life of me what's going on with Paul George. Obviously, I think his shoulder's kind of banged up. They certainly need to kind of adjust themselves, and they need some Patrick Beverley. They need that defensive soul that he brings that was so obviously lacking the other night. And I think when they get that, then they'll start rounding into form. But the clock is ticking with this team. They haven't had a chance to, get everybody together on the same page. And if they're not careful, a hot Luka could exit them immediately. And that's even, like you said, without Porzingis last and this. So it will be... This is a trying time for them. They go down tonight, things are going to get very scary for the Clippers. It'll be truly a gut check. Not that they can't win out, but without Beverly, I think they need to be genuinely concerned as to what is their mentality. Do they have the guts and the heart to win these hard-fought games defensively instead of falling back and just waiting for a big shot or for Kawhi to become Kawhi and hit another Toronto-esque shot like last year? So I think they're going to do it, but it's not going to be easy. And tonight, this is essentially a game 7. From here on out, the Clippers got to just continue to win. If they drop one of these, it's going to get scary for them.
Well, again, though, I don't know that I expect them to lose tonight. As much as I enjoy watching Luka play, I think the difference is they know Porzingis isn't going to play. They're going to prepare for that. They had that huge lead and let it slip away. I don't know that happens again. It's almost like the Lakers losing that game against Portland, and you go, man, Portland, man, their game, and they haven't been in it since. It just kind of feels like the tomorrow will say the same thing. They've awoken the bear, and that dude tonight is going to have a great game. I hope Luka continues this run because I'd rather see the Mavs go on than that dude. But my gut tonight is on that dude.
Yeah, they're gonna come on back. They're going to come on back. And, the sad thing about it is this the Utah Jazz Denver Nuggets series is as fun to watch as anything out there. had two guys go for 50 the other day. I mean, two of the young studs, the Knicks, are going at it, and Jokic playing as well as he can. And watching the defense that Utah can run, Rudy Gobert will provide a bit of an obstacle for Anthony Davis, not as much as I think Jokic would, but Jokic could as well. It ain't a done deal, but man, when Davis is playing the way that he is, and Caruso is capable of stopping the other team's best scorer, whoever that might be, whenever they run up against him, at least in the backcourt, the Lakers look as formidable as ever. And can we just have the Lakers wear that uniform all the time? I'm not a fan of the Lakers, never have. Don't like that purple and yellow. I can live with the Mamba. That is gorgeous. That needs to stay. For maybe it's like their Thanksgiving uniform or their Christmas uniform or something that they just roll out on the big ones, but that's a beautiful look.
As you know, I tend to hate all teams that wear yellow pants, and that includes shorts. Those uniforms last night, man.
Yeah,
that's a good look that should stay. Get rid of those.
You play good
pants.
when you look good like that. Yeah, you look good like that. It's easy to play good. Who was it rolled out there? Now, and by the way, in Portland, by the way, you can't go wrong with what Portland had on. When you go old school with that sash that goes across, the old Bill Waltons. That's a pretty uniform too. Hats off to those two. They went at it. Let's talk some Cowboys when we come back. There is still no Earl Thomas. We're not sure where Jerry stands. You get to hear from him next. We're going to talk with Jerry. Well, we're going to hear from Jerry Jones on a variety of subjects. It's been a while since Jerry's opened up like this on all these different matters. Where you're going to get it next. Hang around. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
You know, injuries happen, and when they do, you can skip the ER and get to an Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, sprains, strains, dislocations, and other sports injuries. Again, no need to go to an ER for that kind of an injury. Get to an Ortho Now Injury Clinic. They have 2 San Antonio locations, extended hours Monday through Saturday, on-site x-ray, casting, and bracing. Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. To find out more, go to tsaog.com/orthonow. Again, tsaog.com/orthonow.
ESPN San Antonio is your home for the Texas Rangers. Tonight, Rangers, A's, 7:05 first pitch. Pregame at 6:30. Texas Rangers baseball on ESPN San Antonio is brought to you by GPS of Texas, GPSoftX.com.
This ESPN San Antonio Sports Center updates brought to you by Alamo Water Softeners, 274-6122. I'm James Pledger, and in the NFL Network's insider Ian Rappaport has reported that the Cowboys are out on Earl Thomas and that they are not expected to be among the teams vying for the recently released 7-time Pro Bowl safety. Dallas Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones said not so fast to that report this morning on 105.3 The Fan.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. He has no idea what he's talking about. Okay, the only one that knows that is me, standing right here.
Rappaport responded to Jones' comments on Twitter saying, quote, "Gotta love Jerry Jones," who said the same thing. He has no idea when I reported midway through the season that Dak was going to get franchise tagged. Anyway, Dallas has had some talks about Earl Thomas, has not made an offer, and there's no expectation they will, end quote. Get the latest on the situation today on the Blitz with Jason and Rob during ESPN San Antonio's training camp coverage. In Major League Baseball, the Texas Rangers snapped an 8-game losing streak last night as they beat the Division League A's 3-2 in their series opener at Globe Life Field. Lance Lynn got the win, improving to 4-0 as Texas continues that series with Oakland tonight. First pitch is set for 7:05, and you can catch it right here on your home for the Rangers, ESPN San Antonio, starting at 6:30 with the pregame. I'm James Pledger for 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
If you were hurt in an accident, Thomas J. Henry can help. Let us help you get a rental car, make your medical appointments, and even advance money on qualifying cases. If you've been hurt, start your claim today at tjhlaw.com/radio. That's tjhlaw.com/radio, San Antonio, Texas.
Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys, is celebrating the Cowboys' 60th anniversary with the Ultimate Fan Experience Sweepstakes. Win Dallas Cowboys game tickets, tailgate experience, and 60th anniversary gear like exclusive Miller Lite Cowboys caps, t-shirts, or a track jacket. Register at MillerLite.com/Cowboys or go to your local retailer where Miller Lite is sold and snap the Snapchat code. The Ultimate Fan Experience Sweepstakes brought to you by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys.
Celebrate responsibly. 2020 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
O'Reilly. This is Derek's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
After the third time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying. So I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it for free. Now my car starts like new.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Balance of nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I feel wonderful. I am so full of energy. I work out every day. I could stay up in the evening, whereas there was a time I couldn't do that. I don't know. I got a restored life. I'm very happy with balance of nature.
I can't remember the last time I felt as good as I do now. I mean, that's the only thing I've changed, so it's got to have something to do with it. You know, I've always felt very tired and I just don't have any energy, and that's all changed.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751. Again, that's 1-800-2468-751. Or by going to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code FRUITS.
It's time for some straight talk. You know where the full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best networks, same as big carriers, but for a lot less. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G, for up to 50% less than the big carriers. No contract, full coverage, 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Finding the next job is a big job, and that part of what you do is a little tough right now. Because of that, Lowe's for Pros is here to help. Get $400 in leads on us with a free 1-year subscription from HomeAdvisor to connect to jobs that make sense for you. Sign up at lowesforpros.com/pro-loyalty to get started. Just one more reason why Lowe's is the new home for pros. Now let's get to work. Subscription and $400 lead credit subject to HomeAdvisor's approval and terms. Valid for new HomeAdvisor customers only. Lowe's loyalty required. More terms apply. Valid through 9/9 U.S. only.
AA Best Bail Bonds presents ESPN San Antonio's Dallas Cowboys Training Camp coverage. Sponsored by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, Ewald Kubota, and Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys.
It is time for your AA Best Bail Bonds Dallas Cowboy Training Camp coverage. By the way, it's the last week of the Miller Lite, the only beer the Dallas Cowboys giveaway. Easy to win. Go to ESPNSA.com. Click on that training camp coverage icon. Get yourself registered. This week we got the that big old ice box, the cooler. Pretty cool stuff. So only way you can win, go get yourself registered. Miller Lite is the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. You'll only catch the Dallas Cowboys right here on ESPN San Antonio and Jack FM. All right, let's talk about them Cowboys. Jerry comes out and speaks, and certainly enough to pull the guy out of the rabbit hole, because he does have rabbit ears, he's told us. That, Earl Thomas, we were told by Ian Rappaport, was not going to be a Dallas Cowboys, that the negotiations had ceased if they had ever even begun. It wasn't going to happen. Well, Jerry was 105.3 The Fan today, Jason, and set that record straight.
Yeah, and it's funny because he says Ian doesn't know what he's talking about. The interesting thing is Ian works for the NFL Network, which is owned by Jerry Jones. So in essence, Jerry Jones is saying that his employee is full of crap. But you know what? Ian's been right on a number of things that Jerry has denied until it ultimately happened. But, Jerry leaves the door open, I think, for Earl Thomas, but certainly doesn't seem like he's going to be signed over the next couple of days, at least not as we stand right now. But interest, is there interest? It's like you're bumbling to decide which way you want to swipe.
I haven't visited personally with Earl. I don't know that anybody has, but that would probably be a next step if we're at a point where we need let's sit there and activate this thing.
So nobody's talked to him, but that would be the next step, is get him on the phone and and talk to him. And I do think the fact that nobody has signed him yet, you don't hear rumors of Earl Thomas linked to any teams really that have serious interest or conversations, does make me wonder if everybody is just a little scared of signing Earl Thomas right now with the price he's going to want, or they anticipate him wanting, or what his agent has already put out there. But, dude, you get fired in Seattle from Pete Carroll.
He didn't get fired. He didn't get fired. He took a better deal. He did not get fired.
He didn't get
fired. He got $15 million. If I could get fired and sign that kind of deal, fire me every year.
He didn't get re-signed. And Seattle said, yeah, it's been nice, man. Here's your gold watch, man. Thanks for playing.
Well, that's not fired. That's just we can't afford you, bro. He got paid. He got paid because he had talent a year ago. A year ago. I don't understand why we're discussing this. There better be, if not by the Cowboys, by somebody, negotiations for Earl Thomas. I don't understand this atmosphere. Unless there's something out there, a bombshell that I don't know about, what is the debate? I don't care if you're not getting 100% of Earl Thomas. You're probably getting 70% and maybe a slightly bad attitude. Obviously, he hated it in Baltimore. Something went wrong there. But up until then, this is a Hall of Famer. And if you can get him in the house for half of what he was getting paid for last year, that seems like a pretty good deal. Sounds like Jerry is still working this, though, man. But I cannot imagine a world where Earl Thomas is not the starting safety for an NFL football team in week 1.
It will be, but I think if he sits unemployed for a while, the likelihood of getting him for half or on a discount becomes more likely. I mean, right now, he probably has a pretty high price tag, and that's why you don't see him lining up to go anywhere. And again, he's 31 years old. He's gone to a couple of different teams. He could still play, but is he worth it in the locker room? And, maybe after – watching Antonio Brown float around and, do teams want to deal with that? And again, for the Cowboys, they don't want to spend a lot of money on a safety. They had a chance to go get Earl Thomas. They passed once. They never seemingly really were engaged with the Jets for a Jamal Adams because they didn't want to have to pay him that kind of money. For Jerry, maybe it's not a priority. I mean, right now, they got a variety of guys working out at safety. Hey, you, get back there and see if you can play safety, because he said, that despite what you're seeing with Earl Thomas, this was the couple of days where they planned on evaluating safeties.
We had in our plans to evaluate some of the other guys that weren't on the depth chart as safeties. We had that in our plans. That's going on. That went on.
It started at 3:01 on Sunday afternoon when a strange tweet came across my phone, and I said, you know what we should do? We should evaluate our safeties. Okay, man.
Well, and you look at a couple of things, Rob. Do they are they comfortable where they are with their safeties? I mean, we know, pull whichever cliche you want out from the Joneses or Mike McCarthy. Talent acquisition is, 365, yada, yada, yada. They went out and they got a Clinton Dix, and we all thought he was going to be the guy. Now, keep in mind, when Clarence Hill from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram was on with us yesterday, who has seen every practice to this point that the media has been allowed to see, said that has not been impressive, and he's been passed already on the depth chart.
Well, I mean, the bottom line is has been passed on the depth chart.
Wow.
Darren Thompson has been working with the first team the last 3-4 practices. And it's not a situation where, they're just rotating. He's been working with the first team. Has been with the second team. Certainly has done nothing since he's been here to stand out and say that this guy looks like a player. He signed on a 1-year deal for a reason. He's been on, I guess, 3 teams in 4 years for a reason, and looks like those reasons are bearing out right now because, he has not taken hold of this starting job that everybody thought he would, coming back and, reviving his career with Mike McCarthy. That's certainly not happening. And so you would think there's an opportunity here, unless the Cowboys really like Darian Thompson that much. They would choose Darian Thompson over Earl Thomas, and I can't see that either.
And I can't see that. Rob, you can't see that. But Jerry's looking at a safety, what it might cost him, and saying, not yet. He leaves the door open. He'll poo-poo on an NFL Network reporter and what he's out there. If the Cowboys go sign Earl Thomas, it's going to be because Earl Thomas's price tag comes way, way down.
I think that the circumstances have forced that down. Now, the Budda Baker deal certainly signifies that while Jerry doesn't spend money on safeties, other teams do, and they're either good or getting good kind of teams. So you kind of question what Jerry says about allocation and how he allocates money for winning. If you're in, you're in, and if you're not, you're not. But suddenly you have $7.4 or $7 something million you found in your cushions when you redid Tyron Smith. So you can't plead absolute poverty. In fact, you could almost show Earl your checkbook and say, look, this is what I got. You want to be a Cowboy? Again, this is it.
I mean, but here's the thing. I mean, it's Tuesday afternoon, and the pursuit of Earl Thomas right now is who?
Well,
I mean,
this is a hall of, there is pursuit, and to assume otherwise is nuts. This is a Hall of Fame safety that is suddenly available. I don't care what team you are, you're going to call. Like, any thoughts about coming here? What would it take? Now, I don't got a lot of money, but I got a lot of this or a lot of that. No, to assume that there's no chase is ridiculous. This is Earl Thomas.
And again, I think Jerry disputes the Ian Rappaport report that they're out on Earl Thomas, but he also didn't really give any indication that they're actively pursuing Earl Thomas. So as you try to read the tea leaves and decipher the Jerryisms between that and a bad phone connection, he said, Ian is wrong in his reporting that the Cowboys are out on Thomas. Mike McCarthy, to say, he didn't even want to talk about it this morning. Yesterday he did, but talked more about the locker room aspect of bringing in players and what that means for the locker room. I just look at it and say, if the price is right, or they evaluate these safeties and decide, isn't the answer, or, they have their scrimmage on Sunday and aren't happy with what they see from the secondary. But if Earl Thomas is still available on Sunday, to me, that might be even more alarming.
Unless, of course, the rumors of them being the malcontent that we've heard with the Ravens, missing practices, not being prepared for practices, obviously not studying his playbook. Unless there's more to it, I cannot understand why there's any debate at all as to whether Earl Thomas should be on any football team. It just seems ridiculous to me. If you'd have said 3 weeks ago that there was an opportunity for the Cowboys to go get Earl Thomas, but the only way you could get him was if he got in a fight with the Ravens, we would have said, yeah, we're in, we're down, start the fight. and now he doesn't, and we question his status in the league and his citizenship. Come on, man, this is Earl Thomas. He ain't the greatest. He ain't what he was, but he's still top 5. And if you can get him on a bargain, it is a ridiculous thought not to try. And if Jerry's in, be in, do it, especially on the heels of Darian Thompson.
Maybe that's the issue right now is, Jerry negotiating through the press. Ian can tweet out what he tweeted out, that the Cowboys aren't interested in Jerry. No, come on, man. He doesn't know what he's talking about. The only guy that knows that is me. I'm right here, but I ain't telling you. But I'm telling you, Ian's wrong. All right, so what are you telling me, Jerry? It's the, can you get Earl Thomas at a bargain? That's the question that we don't know. Well, I mean, have the Cowboys reached out? If you look at Ian Rappaport's tweet, Dallas has had some talks about Earl Thomas, has not made an offer, and there's no expectation that they will. That's either saying that Mike McCarthy has said no, and early on he's trying to swing it and see how big he actually can swing it in that office. Maybe Jerry is trying to convince him otherwise, and it's kind of like Jerry thinking, yeah, I want this guy, kind of like he wanted Johnny Manziel, until other people in the room convince Jerry otherwise. Maybe it's McCarthy that doesn't want that in the locker room, because yesterday McCarthy's conversation was more about protecting the locker room.
I feel like they're all negotiating through the press. But while they're doing it through the press, somebody's making offers. And the Cowboys might once again be like a time limit passing by, like the Dak possibility of getting the franchise taken care of at the last minute. You scramble. Somebody scrambled. It just didn't work. I'd hate to see the Cowboys miss on what appears to be the biggest position of need, and you have the availability of a Hall of Famer. And now we're a little concerned about how he'll handle the locker room. Get out of here, man. This guy's legit. I can't imagine what would be the issue. Hey, Usain Bolt's a smart guy, right? I mean, he's the fastest man on earth. Got gold medals. He's 34 years old, throws himself a birthday party. And guess what happens? And then it gets even stranger. Wait till you hear how the news broke. Let's talk about Usain Bolt's positive test and how once you get positive for COVID, you shrink like 2 feet. We'll be right back. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. Whether it's you, a family member, a friend of yours, you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast. The best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds. 210-225-2121 is the phone number, or go to the website, mybestbailbonds.com. You can even start the bonding process there online. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail. A lot of reasons for that. And yet don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. And trust me, there's a lot of conditions. Your best option is AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. Of course, they're discreet and confidential and open 24/7 to get you out fast. Offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. So if you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, in the Valley, anywhere in between, AA Best Bail Bonds, license number 149. The phone number, 210-225-2121. 225-2121 or online at mybestbailbonds.com.
AA Best Bail Bonds presents ESPN San Antonio's Dallas Cowboys Training Camp coverage. Sponsored by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, Ewald Kubota, and Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. Tune into the Blitz from 4 to 7 for exclusive interviews and more.
I got a question for you guys. Did you wake up this morning feeling your absolute best, or did you wake up feeling, man, I am tired once again? You probably snored all night long, maybe a little bit overweight, and that led you to being probably too hot. And when you got up, your knees and every other joint was cracking because the weight that you're carrying. You walked into the bathroom and started taking a bunch of medicine because of the pre-diabetic condition you're in, and maybe there's hypertension involved. Let me tell you, getting older stinks, but it doesn't have to feel bad. And certainly if you're overweight, you can make yourself feel better, adopt a healthier lifestyle, and live better. That was me a year ago. I didn't feel good. Now the doctors told me, well, you're healthy for the shape you're in. Now the shape ain't that very good. It's kind of like a pear, but we can fix you a little bit. I'll tell you what, best thing I ever did was meet Dr. Torres over at the Institute for Functional Health. Once I began the program, once I joined with him as my coach, my mentor, and everything in between on this wellness jersey, I was headed in the wrong direction. All those pre-existing conditions that you keep hearing about in the news can be taken care of in a lot of ways by losing some weight. And the Institute for Functional Health is available to you to put together a program made specifically and only for you. This isn't an off the rack program. It's certainly not made for everybody. It's made for you with some basic principles that you can live by in a very healthy way. The Institute for Functional Health has changed my life, and I want it for you. Down nearly 40 pounds, not hypertensive, not near diabetic anymore. My knees feel better than they ever have, and man, I look good in fashionable clothes. I want that for you. I want you to call Dr. Torres and meet him. Find out what I know. Here's the number, 210-468-1891. Again, that's 210-468-1891. Their website is the Institute for Functional Health.com. Talk with Dr. Torres. Find out what I know. You can feel better on a healthy lifestyle that doesn't need to go away. It ain't a diet. It's a way to live better. Is it easy? No, it's not the easiest thing I've ever done, but the great things, they never are. It's worth it. Call Dr. Torres today, and I know for sure you will. Thank me later.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise, and save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. Drive-bys is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Public speaking. Getting stranded at sea. Gas station bathrooms. Venomous snakes. Paying too much for a bed that isn't right for you. These are the most common fears in America. That's why Mattress Firm came up with the Rest Assured Promise. So you'll find the right bed at the right price, guaranteed. And during our Labor Day sale, save up to 50% on America's best-selling brands like Sealy and more. Restrictions apply. Valid at participating locations and only while supplies last. Some products only available online. Visit mattressfirm.com for details.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Changing your oil. We've got what you need. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil and an STP oil filter for just $26.99, plus a $5 bonus reward if you're an AutoZone Rewards member. Not a member? Signing up is easy. You can do it right here in store or on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
It's time for some straight talk. You know where the full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best networks, same as big carriers, but for a lot less. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G, for up to 50% less than the big carriers. No contract, full coverage, 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Hey, it's the Blitz. You're on ESPN San Antonio. That's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. He's James Pledger. You want to see for real? Go to ESPNSA.com. There you can see our YouTube channel broadcasting live, or go to Facebook. Go to our ESPN San Antonio page. We love to hear from you. Reach out, touch us in a virtual way. You can jump on the Twitter feed. I wanted to make sure James was paying attention. At Jason Minix, at Rob Thompson, ESPN, of course, at I Am Pledger. We look forward to hearing from you. Quick programming note, we're out at 6:30 tonight as the Rangers continue their series against the Oakland A's. Your Texas Rangers coverage always brought to you by GPS of Texas. So Usain Bolt turned 34. He retired 3 years ago. One of the more extraordinary athletes of my lifetime. Just extraordinary, just a remarkable guy. I remember the last we talked about him, Jason, he had retired from soccer, and there was retired from track, and an Australian soccer team had hired him to come on. I guess that didn't pan out. And turned 34 in Jamaica last week, had himself a throwdown, didn't wear a mask, not too many masks available or around, and test positive. He does test positive for COVID. He is self-quarantining there in Kingston.
To make things worse is NBC News Online has a headline: Usain Bolt, fastest man alive, tests positive for corona, and there's a picture of Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. All right. Now, certainly this bad.
It is bad. Kevin saw it. He posted, no comment. I must have gotten really fast and tall overnight. I want to take advantage of this moment and race anybody in the world. We can bet whatever. Bleep just got real. I am also no longer doing comedy due to my Olympic training schedule. I'm back, bitches. P.S. This is disrespectful on so many levels. All you can do is laugh. Maybe the COVID-19 shrunk his legs and torso with the I don't know emoji. Now, there's no defending NBC for this, but I got a pretty good idea what happened.
Yeah, there's for the AI in the world, the artificial intelligence that is invading the media and taking jobs. Part of this is when you go on to certain websites, and some of the things that I deal with on a regular basis is they will, the different news services, AP, the others will provide you pre-packaged news stories that will populate into your website, and they'll supply the photos, and everything's just dandy. You can pick the story. populates on your website, and there's supposed to be a corresponding photo that has been cleared the copyright issues that'll go along with it. Well, we had a little bit of an issue here at ESPN San Antonio with an algorithm from our provider, which the photo never matched the story. So the story would be on Jerry Jones, and the photo would be of like 3 crying teenage soccer players. It didn't. So I'm not trying to defend NBC News, but I don't know who is actually populating their website. If it's a human being that did that, probably unemployed today. I'll bet it's one of those algorithm artificial intelligence just grabbed the wrong photo. And even that, Gigo is garbage in, garbage out. And whoever programmed did not do that right, man. Not even close, bruh. As we adjust socially, this is funny. It's disturbing, but let's take it for what it is. A mistake that is quite funny. You couldn't have chose a more opposite type than Kevin Hart. What is he, like 4'5"? I mean, and also recently off of the car accident where he broke his pelvis and back and rehab and all that. Yeah, that's perfectly funny.
But again, though, I mean, and so when you go to ESPNSA.com, and if you think something doesn't look right, that's Rob. And he's going to blame somebody else.
It's Hal. Hal. Thank you, Hal. Hey, let's.
Is that what you named our AI?
Hal. Yeah, at some point he's going to take you hostage. You're the one trapped in the glass box of fun. Hey, we're coming back talking NBA. Big games tonight. Lots are not playing both tonight and tomorrow. We'll get you all caught up. Jerry Jones, he's got a couple issues on his plate. The next one that he's going to be facing front and center is crowds in the stands, and will his players be kneeling? We'll look at that at 5:15. John Machota is going to join us, covering the Dallas Cowboys with The Athletic, one of those great Dallas Cowboy insights that John could offer. We can't wait to have him at 5:30. So you want to hang where you are. That's on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Tune in to the Blitz today for the ESPN San Antonio Injury Update, powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Catch up on the latest injuries and how it will affect your team. The Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. 210-804-5555.
The Camera Exchange is open for in-store and curbside. Shopping for a Nikon? The Camera Exchange has them. Check out the all-new Nikon Z5, designed for creativity and ease of use, perfect for entry-level photographers. Or the versatile Nikon Z6 or Nikon Z7 mirrorless cameras that allow you to take great photos and 4K video. Depending on your photography needs, these Nikons are perfect and come with a Nikon limited warranty. The Camera Exchange, 1 mile inside Loop 410 on San Pedro. Online at camerax.com.
Strict attention to detail. That's what sets Kubota construction equipment apart. It's how we maximize performance, increase strength, and give you the dependability you demand. We engineer our equipment precisely at every level. It's what makes us a leader. Save up to $11,000 on construction equipment or get 0% APR financing for 60 months. Now through September 30th, 2020. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
From the Gulf of Mexico to the hill country of Texas, Ewald Kubota is your Kubota dealer.
Everyone loves Rico's nachos, but not everyone enjoys them in exactly the same way. If you're a natural-born risk taker, you're a nacho high roller. You go all in when it comes to your nachos. To win big at snack or mealtime, you bet it all on crispy nacho chips, cheesy molten goodness, and spicy jalapenos. With Rico's Nachos, you're always a winner. Rico's Nachos are available at H-E-B, Walmart, and other grocery and club stores. For more info, go to ricos.com. Rico's, how to nacho.
Ready for a positive 2020 surprise? Here's one from Diamonds Direct. The return of our best offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing. Yes! Starting Monday the 31st, backed by popular demand. Pick any item. Get the amazing value price Diamonds Direct is known for. Pay nothing down and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. And you can even finance the sales tax. Fine jewelry has never been more affordable. 5 years, 0 interest on anything and everything starting September 1st at Diamonds Direct. Get details, directions, and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Changing your oil. We've got what you need. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil and an STP oil filter for just $26.99, plus a $5 bonus reward if you're an AutoZone Rewards member. Not a member? Signing up is easy. You can do it right here in store or on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Finding the next job is a big job, and that part of what you do is a little tough right now. Because of that, Lowe's for Pros is here to help. Get $400 in leads on us with a free 1-year subscription from HomeAdvisor to connect to jobs that make sense for you. Sign up at lowesforpros.com/pro-loyalty to get started. Just one more reason why Lowe's is the new home for pros. Now let's get to work. Subscription and $400 lead credit subject to HomeAdvisor's approval and terms. Valid for new HomeAdvisor customers only. Lowe's loyalty required. More terms apply. Valid through 9/9 U.S. only.
This is Nate Noonan of the Dallas Cowboys. You're listening to 1250 ESPN San Antonio.
And 94.5 FM, where the pros play.
For everything Cowboys.
KCTC San Antonio. Jason Minix, Rob Thompson, the Blitz.
It is the Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, on the go at ESPNSA.com. He is Jason Minix. I am Rob Thompson. James Pledger, man, the myth, the legend. Back at the mothership, we got an hour and a half headed your way. We're out at 6:30 for Rangers baseball. Real quickly, Jason, one of our favorite things of the calendar year at the ESPN studios is Poochmania. We are around the corner from just about our favorite event. We all share damn about your dog. Our adoration for our own personal animals. I might not care about yours. I certainly care about mine. I care about Jason's lovely 2 dogs, Bailey and what's her face, and I couldn't.
Don't worry,
Bailey and
Princess.
Princess. There we go. I don't know where that
you.
fell. I'm sorry, Princess. See, you and I, we bonded. I feel bad that I forgot your name.
It's funny.
But,
my dog
lovely
has been
animals
since
nonetheless.
you quit coming to the house.
There you go. See, I come, I perform the service, and, whatever residual hangs around. We want you to join us. Poochmania 2020 is a live social stream event. Normally we host it, and it benefits, the San Antonio Humane Society. We do it every year. Now we're going to have to do it online this year. We're making it fun. It's going to be September the 26th, all-day event. You can check it out on our website, on our YouTube channel, and on our Facebook channels. Enter your home for pet adoption. We got that going on. We got dogs making a difference in the community. We got crazy pet tricks. It's going to be Poochmania, and remember, it is all for a worthy cause, taking care of the San Antonio Humane Society. Again, that's September the 26th, and it's brought to you by the San Antonio Express News, Jeff's Backyard, and VCA Animal Hospitals. We can't wait. Set the date.
What
September
crazy
the
tricks
26th.
do y'all do?
Mine, I have, the ward of the court, Lola. She can. She is capable of dispatching a dryer sheet into itty-titty little tiny bits in under 5 seconds. She can shred it as fast as anything out there that is human or non-human. And I also have another Chihuahua that is slowly turning into a little baby fur seal. The dog never moves, and his legs were already short, and they're just kind of pulled back in her body. Now she's just got flippers. So we just kind of carry her around, lay her outside, and then we, she looks like a baby fur seal.
What about yours?
She's got no teeth. It's getting gruesome, man. We love Peanut. We really do, but her teeth are falling out, and she never moves anymore. It's just
hey, word to the wise: go get her teeth checked if she starts losing them, because
starts.
Well, Bailey is getting old. The Basset Hound apparently had a tooth infection that threw a blood clot and literally was bleeding out of her nose and her eye like nobody's business. It was
scared me.
It was so, when I hear your dog's losing teeth, go get that checked, because if all of a sudden, there is blood gushing everywhere, including out of the eye. I'm just saying, that's a very
who you're talking to, right?
Emergency room trick.
That's the Thompson family way. Mm-hmm. We don't go to the doctor until it's an emergency, and I'm certainly not. I have an unblemished record, Jason, of not paying for pet dentistry. I have made it over half a century without ever having to pay for it. I'm going to try to see if I can prolong the streak.
$454 to go to the emergency room and get some medicine. The surgery that they wanted to do on my dog was about $4,500. Needless to say, I'll be getting a new dog before she gets a $4,500 surgery. I mean, can't she's 11. or 10, whatever
Yes.
she is.
There is a season for everything. Turn.
You know, when you look at Basset Hound's life expectancy,
It's borrowed time now, baby.
Yeah.
Had a good one.
I'll be upset. Don't get me wrong, but
it was a good run.
I'd be more upset with spending that kind of money on dental surgery for a Basset Hound.
All
Sorry,
that
Bailey.
aside,
It's
we can't wait for Poocher Matey to come around the corner. It's brought to you by Alamo Water Softeners, September the 26th. And we're sure that we all have and love our animals, and I'm sure you do too, and you want to be a part of this great event. We do look forward to it every year.
Mark your calendar.
So mark your calendar, September the 26th. We got NBA today.
Dallas Cowboys on their Twitter just posted a video of CeeDee Lamb catching a beautiful over-the-shoulder grab. Great break off the line. Perfect route. How was this guy number 17 overall? I mean, every day you see some ridiculous highlights of CeeDee Lamb, but I'm watching this going, how was that guy 17 overall?
It's good to be a Dallas sports fan today. It's good to be living in the Metroplex because Rangers won yesterday. Now this, it's the Rangers. And certainly I think there's going to be some renewed scrutiny on them as the Mavericks turn their tide and start turning into a contender, as we saw from Luka. Hope springs eternal for the Cowboys. And you just talked about the Stars making an NHL run. It's good to be a Dallas sports fan today. And it's been a while since they've been able to brag about that on every front.
It's been a long.
Don't you hate him? Don't you despise Todd and his leased BMW and his Rolay, discussing his short-term investments and his day trading and
$30,000 millionaire that is Dallas?
The day trading daily millionaire on paper, bragging about this guy named Luku. Wasn't even a Maverick fan. Now it's Luku. Who's this Luku? He's better than that dirt guy. The NBA going off tonight. There, first of all, if you're just joining us, Dame Lillard's out. He won't play tomorrow. That knee we saw get tweaked. It's done. But the fact of the matter is, I think the writing's on the wall. It's done. The Blazers lost their big for surgery, Zach, and we have a reinvigorated Laker team. Whether it was because of the date 8/24 and the Mamba Day and the uniforms and all that went into yesterday, and combined with the terrible issues going on in Kenosha, the Lakers served notice that they were certainly back. And I think the Trailblazers, while valiant, are walking away from this playoffs looking to fix something. This is a good news for the San Antonio Spurs. If you are of the camp that LaMarcus might need to go, I think the Blazers are looking at this team saying LaMarcus might be exactly what is required to get them better. It's just a matter of what they want to give up. We also know that Kristaps Porzingis will be out again with that strained knee, so Luka's going to have to go into it with his scrappy group of 8 and see if they can go get another one against a precision Utah team led by not Utah team, precision team that in the Clippers that are led by Kawhi. But the fact is, without Paul George and without Patrick Beverly, this is a 3-game series that could go either way. And I think this is the game. If you look at who wins series, it is certainly game 4. Game 5, to take it home.
Game 5, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
You look at that. The question is what we saw from Dallas on Sunday was incredible. An individual performance by Luka, a great comeback, the overtime. But how real was that? I mean, the Clippers blew a big lead in that game. Doc Rivers has to get them dialed in and focused. And without Porzingis tonight, and I hope a pissed-off Clipper team, even though I'm rooting for the Mavs in this one, I just don't see how the Clippers lose this game or this series without a fully functional Dallas Maverick roster, and they just aren't. If Luka can carry them past the Clippers in this round, essentially by himself, as much as he keeps ascending up the legend status at his age, it will go even farther. Just incredible. But I just don't, as much as it pisses me off, that guy is going to be incredible tonight.
His name is Jacob Blake. He is from Kenosha, Wisconsin. He was shot on video at multiple times in the back. Let's not forget the name. Remember his name, Jacob Blake. But that shooting has affected a lot of the pro sports. Certainly, we've seen the Detroit Lions cancel practice today. The Raptors were in discussions as to what they should do in reaction to that. I think this is something that bears watching over the next 24 hours there, Jason. As NBA players, I believe, feel like they went into the bubble with a plan. They executed the plan, yet nothing has worked. And or the history continues to repeat itself. Yet again, we see a young African-American man essentially gunned down by police. And there is genuine concern, I would think, that the players are going to do something to bring more attention to that, and that would be withholding service, not playing.
Well, again, the Raptors have talked about boycotting the game against the Celtics coming up on Thursday. You've got members of the Milwaukee Bucks like George Hill questioning whether or not they should even be playing games. What are they accomplishing in the bubble? One of the things that Adam Silver, whatever the term is, allowed with messaging on jerseys and shirts and Black Lives Matter and not on the court and, not punishing guys for kneeling during the anthem, which is a rule in the NBA. You're not supposed to kneel. To carry the message for social justice into the bubble was a olive branch to get players to go down there for however many weeks or months they were going to be in there, depending on how good your basketball team is. For a team like the Spurs, 5 weeks and 8 games. For playoff teams, obviously the number of games and the stay inside the bubble is going to be longer. And this is the week that families are arriving into the bubble. So you got wives and girlfriends and kids showing up at the bubble. I believe they're all in quarantine now, those that are going. So they still haven't seen their families yet because they're in quarantine, but they're there. So, we're at that phase of the bubble experiment, and by all accounts, it has worked. Yet you see that shooting, and it makes you wonder, is it worth it? If you're inside that bubble, is it worth it?
I think you put it in a very unique context there, Jace, because there were negotiations as to getting the players in and what the NBA would have happen during this just to get the games going. And the players, there are a lot. LeBron was, early on, there are a lot of players that said this isn't a good idea because of the movement as we stand today. And, things started and it worked for them. We got the promotion that they hoped to get, and it was received as best as we could have expected. It really was. There wasn't a lot of turmoil broadcast out after this. It was expected, and we've seen it, and it's been beneficial. This has, by every measure, been a success both on the court and off. But as things continue, and as the political activism with these players, they've taken this step. And it's my experience, Jason, and I'm sure yours, that once the toothpaste is out of the tube, it ain't coming back. There's only one way to go. It's forward. And I wonder what the negotiations are like, because the turmoil that this would throw the business of the NBA in if they chose not to play for a game or, postpone something, it goes far beyond just the movement. And maybe that might be what it takes. It's going to be interesting to watch over the next couple hours. I don't believe it'll happen, but it might be time for it to actually happen in a lot of those guys' minds.
If you're George Hill, though, are you doing more good inside the bubble where you're talking to the media every day? George Hill isn't getting any media coverage in August if he's not inside that
He would
bubble.
be if he was standing in front of a crowd. If he was leading the march, he would be. And he would be given that opportunity because of the status he has. There are things that these men can do at home, in the markets, in the areas that concern them. Playing basketball, yes, you're provided that bullhorn, but there are things you can do to get your hands dirty, to go to work. And I think a lot of these guys feel like, all right, I used the bullhorn, it didn't work. What's the next thing? Because this didn't work. And so I think we're going to see a ratchet up of not only the volume and the anger. We're going to have to start to see, we'll not have to. I expect to see some more tangible movements by these athletes, because it happened again. Damn it, it happened again. Unbelievable. When we come back, Jerry Jones, this goes right along with what we're talking about. because Jerry has always been very forthright about his belief in the national anthem, kneeling and standing. We know what the record is. Now we're getting closer and closer to kickoff. How's Jerry going to handle it with both his new players and his old? We'll hear from him next. And then John Machota of The Athletic's going to join us as we talk Dallas Cowboys. Stay here on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
You know you want to protect what matters most, your family and home, and the best way to do that is by calling BSG, the best local company for home security and smart home technology. Jason Minix here. You know, the security system in my house is from BSG, from the equipment to the monitoring, and BSG on average 20 to 30% less than the national companies. And it's not just home security, the smart home technology that BSG offers: lights, door locks, garage door opener, sprinkler system, and much more, including connected car. Yep, they can tie your BSG monitored security system to your car that not only gives you info about your driving or your kids driving, but also great notifications like if your battery is low or your tire pressure is low. They've got it all. They have medical grade air purification systems that were developed for the military to be used in chemical warfare. It's able to remove viruses from the air. So if you're looking for a home security system or you want some great smart home technology, there's one company to call. It is BSG. They're a great local San Antonio company. They've been here for over 20 years. The phone number 210-877-1222, 877-1222, or go to the website bsgtexas.com.
Catch Texas Rangers baseball as they sprint to the finish of a shortened 60-game season. Texas Rangers baseball on ESPN San Antonio is brought to you by GPS of Texas. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Do you have a retirement plan? No matter your age or how close you are to retirement, you need a plan to make sure you don't run out of money. Jason Minix here for Pax Financial Group. At Pax Financial Group, they know you want to be financially prepared. In order to do that, you need trusted guidance. At Pax, they have the experience and tools to crunch your retirement numbers and get the answers you need. If you have a plan, let Pax double check all your numbers. At Pax, they believe everybody deserves to be hopeful about their future. They understand why it is important for families to protect their hard-earned money, and a key reason they're a trusted financial advisor for so many families over the past decade. Connect with Pax. 210-881-5700 is the phone number. 881-5700, or go to the website PaxFinancialGroup.com, PaxFinancialGroup.com. Investment advisory services offered by Pax Financial Group, LLC.
Most of us go to the doctor when we're sick or need prescriptions refilled. But at the Institute for Functional Health, we offer a different and complete version of primary care. This means you will get the medications you need, but we will also put together a custom game plan to fix the root cause and allow your body to heal itself. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we help people get off of medications.
I no longer have sleep apnea and stopped taking cholesterol medication completely. Even my testosterone level raised over 100 points.
I no longer have anxiety attacks and have stopped taking pre-diabetic medication and sleeping pills.
I take 0 medications and said goodbye to sinus infections. I finally feel normal.
I do not take medicines. I lost over 40 pounds and my weight has remained amazingly consistent. Most importantly, I feel great.
I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health. Call me for a free consultation, 468-1891, or online at iffhealth.com. You will experience a doctor's visit unlike any you've ever had. 468-1891.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World.
The year is 2019, and someone is waiting for a table at a restaurant.
Thompson, party of 4. Thompson, party of 4. Thompson, party... Oh, there you are.
This has been The Sounds of the Old World.
Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hey, it's your Uncle Cooper here. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Goldie, my niece, your cousin. And Goldie didn't know which tires were right for her. The first ones were too much tire, and the next ones were not enough tire. Anyway, long story short, Goldie found the Coopers, and they were just right. What a happy, practical ending. Okay, go to sleep. Go with the Coopers. Cooper.
AA Best Bail Bonds presents Dallas Cowboys Training Camp coverage on ESPN San Antonio. Sponsored by Ewald Kubota, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, and Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys.
You're on ESPN San Antonio, and this is your AA Best Bail Bonds Dallas Cowboy Training Camp Update. So, it took forever to hear from Jerry, Jason. We went months without hearing from Jerry Jones, and that's unlike him. When we did finally hear from Jerry, the state of the Cowboys, and the message that he sent out was grace. He asked for grace, not only for himself, but for his players, for the NFL, the grace that is required to accept other people's viewpoints in the eye of the society that we're in now. You wonder what's going to happen. He asked for grace, but he has never said, as an owner of a team that has forbid his players from kneeling in the past, what he's going to do.
Well, and again, it sounds like he wants to come up with a compromise with these players that they can do something with grace.
Yeah, I do still plan on kneeling, but we haven't had a conversation yet. But we did have a team meeting where he kind of expressed a couple of feelings, and he always told us that he has an open door for us to talk to him at any time. So I look forward to taking advantage of that and just getting in his ear and seeing how he's feeling about it.
So Dontari Poe says he's going to kneel, but says he still hasn't talked to Jerry about it. So he, you kind of hear him say, "Yeah, I'm going to kneel, but I want to take the temperature of the boss." Jerry, in answering a question today on 105.3, The Fan in Dallas, said that he has not yet met with Poe, but plans on having a conversation with him.
By the time that we have the first game, I will have visited with him more than likely on an individual basis. All of that will come to play, and we'll have a plan that recognizes what he's trying to do and the way he's trying to do it. And everybody's going to be sensitive to, on the other hand, be sensitive to what it is we're about. We're out there to ask the fans to follow, be attentive to us, and we're well aware of the issue and well aware of where Dallas Cowboys fans are on it. All of that will be put in the hopper, and we'll see how we handle it.
Going to massage it, going to work it out. We're going to put it in the hopper, and we're going to figure out what to do. He's trying to make a deal. He's trying to find something that'll split the difference. And I just don't know in this climate if you can do it. I don't think you can come up to that line and not do it in the eyes of players. And that's why I think he realizes that. I think he's going to offer some sort of ongoing Dallas Cowboy tribute and honor to the movement and to the players and to all that. But I think he's going to try to stand firm at standing for the national anthem. And I'm not sure, at the very least, we know Poe has already told us, and I'm not sure how many others are going to follow suit. It's a balancing act that Jerry is unaccustomed to having to walk, because before it was his way or the highway as far as this went.
Well, and he is a great salesman, and he is going to try to sell his system to these players. And it's worked for him in the past, but he's got some that have said, I'm going to stand. But even Dontari's like, well, I still want to meet with Jerry, because maybe there is a compromise that they can all feel good about. Jerry's going to lay it on the line, but nobody's going to lose their job if they decide to kneel.
You get that feeling. When we come back, let's talk with John Machota of The Athletic, not only about that, but attendance in games, Earl Thomas, and all things Dallas Cowboy Training Camp. John Machota joins us next here on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Kielbasa breakfast links are available at H-E-B stores throughout the San Antonio area. You want to take your breakfast to the next level? Make sure you add in those Kielbasa breakfast links. They're uniquely Kielbasa. Like the dinner sausage you know and love, these links are crafted in small 150-pound batches with premium cuts of pork and hand-blended spices. They come fully cooked, so you can just pop them in the microwave for a quick, easy breakfast, or cook them up in that Kielbasa bacon grease. They are so good. Now, if you're on a no-carb diet, Kielbasa breakfast links are perfect, and they certainly live up to Kielbasa's high standards of quality. If they're not the best breakfast links you ever tasted, call Michael Kielbasa. He'll give you your money back. Get into H-E-B. Get those Kielbasa breakfast links today. We see you.
We hear you.
We denounce systemic racism.
We condemn violence,
inequity,
and injustice.
We pledge to use the power of our platform to spread facts and educate our communities.
We will be the change that we are calling for.
We are united for justice.
Hi, everyone. With today's Cowboys Report, I'm Christy Scales. The player personnel director tells us the decision-making process on whether or not to sign Earl Thomas. You'll hear from Stephen Jones after this.
Whether you're getting ready to purchase a home, setting up a college fund for your kids, or preparing for retirement, you're working hard to live a life you love. And you deserve peace of mind knowing your home, loved ones, and future are protected. At SWBC, we can help you assess your personal situation and create a customized solution to make sure you're prepared for whatever life throws your way. Visit SWBC.com to learn about your mortgage, insurance, and wealth management options today. That's SWBC.com.
Hey, it's Jalen Smith, linebacker for your Dallas Cowboys. Looking for the right energy plan for your home? When you sign up on the Reliant Cowboys plan, you'll score an autographed football. Yeah, a football signed by yours truly. You'll also get an invitation to a Cowboys autograph session. It's a win-win. Go with Reliant and bring the power home. Call 1-866-RELIANT or visit Reliant.com/Cowboys. Reliant, the official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys.
Restrictions, terms, and conditions apply. PUCT number 10007.
Since superstar safety Earl Thomas was released by Baltimore Sunday for conduct detrimental to the team, Thomas to the Cowboys has been a hot topic. Yesterday on the Cowboys radio flagship station, The Fan, Cowboy player personnel director Stephen Jones shared the factors in deciding on whether or not to sign Earl Thomas or any other veteran.
Whenever we evaluate a player, we look at the full body of work, and whether it's medical, whether it's chemistry and culture on our football team, off the field, on the field, and ultimately the tape. How's that player played as of late? You know, it all goes into the equation in the mix as to how you ultimately decide what are you willing to do in terms of the resources, the money. How's it going to help us win?
That's today's Cowboys Report. I'm Christy Scales.
Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys, is celebrating the Cowboys' 60th anniversary with the Ultimate Fan Experience Sweepstakes. Win Dallas Cowboys game tickets, tailgate experience, and 60th anniversary gear like exclusive Miller Lite Cowboys caps, t-shirts, or a track jacket. Register at MillerLite.com/Cowboys or go to your local retailer where Miller Lite is sold and snap the Snapchat code. The Ultimate Fan Experience Sweepstakes brought to you by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys.
Celebrate responsibly. 2020 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Ready for a positive 2020 surprise? Here's one from Diamonds Direct. The return of our best offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing. Yes! Starting Monday the 31st, backed by popular demand. Pick any item. Get the amazing value price Diamonds Direct is known for. Pay nothing down and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. And you can even finance the sales tax. Fine jewelry has never been more affordable. 5 years, 0 interest on anything and everything starting September 1st at Diamonds Direct. Get details, directions, and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
Nobody plans on getting arrested, but it happens. Get out of jail fast by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. Call AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans and are open 24/7. Call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. Drive-bys is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Do you wake up during the night and have trouble falling back asleep? Restore your natural sleep function with drug-free REM Fresh, the first and only continuous release and absorption melatonin that supports your natural sleep cycle for up to 7 hours. #1 sleep doctor recommended REM Fresh. Get up to 7 hours of sleep support. Available at Amazon and at fine retailers nationwide. Individual results may vary. Use as directed.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Ever wonder just how far an extra mile really goes? Drive a Mercedes-Benz van and find out. Start with a network of over 250 authorized dealerships, backed by a sales force ready to help you with everything from customization to service on vans like the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter that's tailored to your lifestyle. with options like Blind Spot Assist and MBUX voice command for spoken directions, weather, and more.
The route is being calculated.
So whether you're enjoying life on the trail or working hard on the job, see how far an extra mile can really go by taking the first step into an authorized Mercedes-Benz van dealership today. Mercedes-Benz vans start at just $33,790, now with 0% APR financing for up to 60 months.
MSRP in a 2019 Sprinter van excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep fee. Options, model availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details about costs and terms. Some equipment described as optional. APR valid on 2019 Sprinter vans, excluding cab chassis, only to qualified commercial customers exclusively through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services at participating dealers through August 31st, 2020.
AA Best Bail Bonds presents ESPN San Antonio's Dallas Cowboys training camp coverage. Sponsored by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, Ewald Kubota, and Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys.
Your AA Best Bail Bonds Dallas Cowboy training camp coverage continues. I want to remind everybody that Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys, offering you some swag. You can win it. Go to ESPNSA.com. Click on that Dallas Cowboys training camp icon. Get yourself registered. We got cool OtterBox stuff, hats, shirts, all kinds of stuff we're giving away. That's how you win it. And we talk Dallas Cowboys. We give you the very best. We'd like to welcome on the show John Machota of The Athletic here on ESPN San Antonio. John, welcome aboard. How's your day going?
It's going pretty good. I think it'd be a little bit better if I think all of us were out in Oxnard, but, this is what we got to do, so we got to kind of just deal with it, I guess.
Somehow being on the tennis courts in Oxnard sounds so much more inviting than my kitchen right now. But it is what it is, and I guess depending on what side of the fence you are, would we all be in a better mood if the Cowboys say we're to sign an Earl Thomas?
It's definitely better for business. I'll put you that way. I always use this as an example. I'm coming up now on my 10-year anniversary of living now in Texas and growing up in Detroit. Let me just say, when these guys become available, the Lions are never talked about with them. But you start following the Cowboys, and not only that, but then it becomes your job. You're just like, this team's like involved with everybody, it seems like. And even if they're not, and that team is involved with them, whether there's any truth to it or not. So Earl Thomas is a little bit different, though, because this is an individual who actually went to that team's locker room after a game a few years back. One of my most memorable moments of covering this team is standing there and going, why is that guy coming to this locker room right now? What is about to go down here? Like, is he about to get in a fight with somebody? And he's putting his arm around Jason Garrett, and I'm just kind of like, this is so bizarre. And so ever since then, it's become like he's like the guy everyone's just waiting. Like, he'll be with the Cowboys eventually one day, but when will it be? But I don't know. Like Jerry Jones says today on the radio that they're still in it. I have my doubts about that. I think Jerry Jones, in his own way, likes to keep the Cowboys in on every discussion, and just because he knows that moves the needle. And that hey, it's possible, but I feel like it would have been done already if they were all about him like they were, a couple of years ago. And obviously the coaching staff's different from then too. But when you have a secondary like the Cowboys have had for the last 4 or 5 years, you don't really create many takeaways. Adding an Earl Thomas seems very intriguing. So to fans and people on the outside, it makes a lot of sense. But I just don't know if the Cowboys are. They just don't seem like they're as interested as they were in previous years.
John Machota of The Athletic joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. He's their Dallas Cowboy insider. John, it doesn't make any sense to me. Now, obviously, the dollars are first and foremost here, but what has happened with Earl Thomas? Was the Baltimore experience outside of everybody looking at what went on there? Did it ruin his reputation to the extent that no one's touching him? And certainly it feels like you get him at a bargain, and no movement here for a Hall of Fame safety for a team that has been so desperate to find one. It just doesn't seem to all jibe with me.
Yeah, and I agree, especially with just how much they've lacked taking the ball away. But going back to the outside the locker room, Cowboys fans loved that. They thought that was great, and this is a guy that's a star player in the league and he wants to play for our team. But at the same time, if that was one of the Cowboys players going on their team's locker room, you'd be like, what are you doing right now? Like, you're still on the Cowboys. And so that there's a little bit of there's some oddness there. And then you mix in the fact that, I don't know about you guys. I was kind of surprised that the Ravens gave him the contract that he got, just because as I recall, he wasn't a guy that was signed right away as soon as, day one free agency started. And he's obviously getting up there in age. And I just kind of wondered what the interest level was there. And then the Ravens come there and they just knock him out of the park with the deal they give him. And I'm just like, oh, well, that's why I was waiting, because somebody was going to give him the big time money. So I thought even in free agency over a year ago, I thought he would be a possibility for the Cowboys. And then I saw the dollar amount of guys, like, well, he was never going to be in play there. So I think you have that. And then the fact of just like what's happened in Baltimore recently. And, all these guys have friends with other organizations they can call. And I'm sure that Mike McCarthy and others have talked to people with the Ravens. And, it might be even worse than what we've heard. That's what ends up being the case a lot. We can report things and when there's smoke, there's fire, and there's usually something to it. But a lot of times it's even worse than what people think it is. It's really bad. And so, because of that, I think that there could be a lot more things behind the scenes than maybe even we know about. And if you're a new coaching staff, do you really want to take that on when you probably feel pretty good about the roster you have? And the last thing is just for me personally, it would be really, it'd be a lot different if he didn't work out with the Detroit Lions and the Cleveland Browns, but he didn't work out with Seattle and Baltimore. And I mean, if I'm putting together a list of the best run organizations in the NFL that have had the most success, both have Super Bowl winning head coaches. Like the Baltimore Ravens and the Seattle Seahawks are pretty high up on that list. So, I mean, there are reasons why, and then obviously age always factors in. So there are some reasons why I could see why it's not a complete slam dunk.
And the fact is, I mean, not only has he not signed in Dallas, but it doesn't seem like his name is associated with heavy interest from any of the teams. And you got to figure reputation plays a part in there. So you've seen every practice that they've allowed the media to watch to this point. With no Earl Thomas, how would you grade the safety core right now of the Cowboys?
Well, you guys have been at the previous camps. I'll just say it's not been any different than that. So I do think Xavier Woods is solid, and he'll be a starter. And even if Earl was to sign with them, I think it would end up being Earl Thomas and Xavier Woods, their two starters. But I mean, just look at the Cowboys. They haven't really invested much. I mean, not only have they invested the least amount on their team in any position at the safety position, you can make the argument they invested the least amount in safety as any position on any team in the NFL right now. I don't know that there's a position on another roster that has been given as little, whether it be draft picks or, free agent dollars to a position than what the Cowboys have given to safety. So to sit here and say that, they look like they look like the Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, Legion of Boom safeties. No, definitely not. So, I mean, it's down to four guys that right now, if they were to cut the roster to make it, would be Xavier Woods, Clinton Dix, Donovan Wilson, and Darian Thompson. And so, we've seen a lot of mixing and matching between those. A lot of people would think that because they signed Clinton Dix and he's the guy, that was a first round pick and made a Pro Bowl and played with McCarthy in Green Bay, that he'd be other starter. I'm not so certain from what I've seen in practice that would be the case. I think Darian Thompson has put himself squarely in the mix for a starting spot. Wow. So, So, I mean, exactly. Like you thought that was going to be a done deal. Oh, it's going to be, Clinton Dix and Woods. And
so
I'm
John,
not sure that right now.
In reading all the different beat reporters and I've read that, and I know Thompson has been for the last couple of days, I guess, getting work with the ones. Is he that much more improved, or is that much of a disappointment?
From my perspective, I would put it more on, not doing anything that has really stood out to me, to kind of maybe defend him to a certain extent. There was more hitting, and it was a little bit more physical on the back end in previous years in training camps. And it's very clear that although this was the case with Jason Garrett too, that you wanted the biggest goal from training camps is to get to week one with your team as healthy as possible. It's certainly even more so this year, at least through the 9 practices that we've seen. For example, today, down the seam, Blake Jarwin catches this beautiful ball that, I'm sitting there with Todd Archer from, ESPN Dallas, and we're both like, if that's a real game, that's not going to be pretty for Blake Jarwin, because they're being told, hey, don't light anybody up. We're not trying to tackle the ground, anything like that. And then we talked to Xavier Woods today, and he even says, we were like, hey, if that play happens in the game, what happens? And he's like, that's probably Blake's last play of the game, because I mean, he's putting him out, right. but they're not really hitting like that. And so when you're a safety, it's hard to kind of make plays in the back end when you can't play at your full strength. So, we're all at a little bit of a disadvantage, obviously the players the most, without having any preseason games. But no, there just hasn't been many plays where you're just standing there and you're thinking, like at least, with Xavier Woods, we've seen several pass breakups in practice and even a nice interception in the back of the end zone where you just really haven't seen those plays from Clinton Dix. And he's another guy. I mean, yeah, he's a first round pick and he was a first round or a Pro Bowler at one point, but he's bounced around through several teams. So, we'll see, but certainly the addition of him would not stop them from adding an Earl Thomas if they really want him.
He's John Machota, Dallas Cowboy writer with The Athletic, joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. Jerry talked a little bit about fans and stands today. When and if there are fans in the stands, are we going to see Dallas Cowboys kneeling at the national anthem?
I don't know how that there won't be any. I mean, that doesn't even sound right. How to explain? Yes, I believe we will. It's different times now, and there were players that were very close to doing it back in, I believe it was 2017, and then that's where Jerry kind of got the team together in Arizona and was like, let's do something together, and then that's where they all knelt together before the anthem, and then all stood together during the anthem. And Jerry said today he was hoping that they can implement something similar to that this year, but I just don't know that that's the case. I mean, you have different players on the team, and then obviously just things in our country have changed since then. There's incidents that have happened across this country that are really, they make the issues that players are kneeling for stand out even more. And so when you even have the commissioner coming out and going on a show with Emmanuel Acho talking about how he understands it, I don't understand how anyone should be surprised that players all across the league don't kneel. And it's certainly, at the very least, I would think Don Terry Poe does. He seems very committed on that, just from when we got a chance to talk to him a few days ago. And so I know he still has a chance. He's going to talk to Jerry Jones before that, but I think it's pretty much inevitable. I think that every team is going to have players kneeling.
John Machota from The Athletic with us here on ESPN San Antonio. Every day I see videos of CeeDee Lamb and wonder, how did that guy slip to number 17? Outside of CeeDee Lamb, who has really stood out to you so far in training camp that may be a bit of a surprise?
So for me personally, Aldon Smith. I know that there's some on the outside that might maybe think that, well, why? He was a guy that at his best, he was one of the best pass rushers in the game. And I remember he was at top 20, maybe even top 10 guy, one of those top 100 players lists in the NFL. So it's because you don't play for 4 seasons. The NFL isn't the type of league where you can just stop and, take almost half a decade off and then all of a sudden come back out and then you're just like nothing happened. And man, he's looked really good, rushing multiple positions. And, I think he contribute on any team, but specifically with a defense, with Mike Nolan running the show, Jim Tomsula as the defensive line coach, a guy that Aldon Smith had so much success with in San Francisco. He just looks natural out there. I didn't know what to expect because obviously, as you guys know, the Cowboys seem like they go through this every offseason where they bring in some pass rushers that you really don't know what to expect from. But yeah, he's really surprised me. He's been very good. I expect him to be a major impact player for them immediately. Trayvon Diggs, and maybe that shouldn't be a surprise because he's a second round pick, but he's somewhat similar to Byron Jones in that he's the longer type corner, and then obviously, he's wearing 31 too, Byron's old number. But every day I feel like that we watch a practice, it just seems like he's a little bit better, like a little bit more confident, a little bit more sure of himself. Because this is a guy who came to Alabama playing wide receiver, and then he turned it, Nick Saban turned him into a DB. And when you see him run, particularly on deep balls, when you see him turn his hips and run with a wide receiver, he looks like a wide receiver the way he tracks the ball. So completely understandable by why you would draft a guy like that if you're trying to take the ball away and be more aggressive on the back end like they're going to be. So those are two guys in the defense that particularly caught my eye. Offensively, it's really been the guys that you'd expect. The offense is just so loaded across the board. And I've honestly been surprised at just how much CD it's been seamless. And I know I shouldn't because it was seamless for him going to high school to college, and it seemed like it was seamless for him going to one Heisman contending quarterback to another. And this is now going to be his 5th quarterback in 5 years. So Yeah, no real surprise on the offense. I would say the biggest one might be Cedric Wilson, who's their fourth receiver, and he's had a really good camp. But even then, you're just like, well, if those top three receivers are healthy, how much time does he even get? But Cedric Wilson is a guy that I came into camp not knowing where he'd be, and he's clearly separated from the rest of the receivers. He's number 4 on the depth chart right now for sure.
John Machota of The Athletic, Dallas Cowboy beat writer there. Real quickly, I thank you for all your time today, John. We heard from McCarthy today talking about Zeke and his, and McCarthy's history with the run game and where is he going to fit. And I found it interesting that McCarthy focused on touches instead of carries. Are we going to see Zeke used in a far more open space mode than we're accustomed to seeing him running through the tackles?
That's a great point. Because we haven't seen him touch the ball as a traditional running back as much so far this far through camp as we have seen previous years under Jason Garrett. There just haven't been a lot of the design run plays. Now, again, they're trying to keep these guys as healthy as possible, and there's no preseason games. And so you're kind of wondering, how full speed can you go to get a real good offensive look to be ready in the run game. And so it wouldn't surprise me if the run game's a little rusty at the start of the season. The other thing that factors in for me is that we haven't seen Lyle Collins at all in any of the practices, and we've seen Tyron Smith for just a couple, and they've been keeping them out as precautions. They're both supposed to be ready and be back out there for, week 1. Nothing serious that they're dealing with, but not having 2 key guys like that, it's not the typical offensive line that they normally have. And so, yeah, we haven't seen the same amount of, just the commitment to the run that you saw in previous years. And so I think that'll be really interesting to track that as we go. And then on top of it, when you talk to Ezekiel Elliott, and he's saying the thing he worked the hardest on in the offseason was catching the football and running routes like a wide receiver. And so, and that not just out of the backfield and on wheel routes and things like that, like actually like spreading out and getting into the slot and running from there. And obviously Tony Pollard is the guy who did that at Memphis, and he has the ability to do that too. And so while he might not get as many traditional carries as Ezekiel Elliott, I would say, he's still going to be their lead back. It just maybe those carries go from being the 20 to 25 to maybe the 16 to 18. But I think maybe his touches go up in the passing game, because I think there's going to be opportunities there. And this is the thing, if you're a Cowboys fan, you should be most interested in. We can explain exactly what position groups everybody's working with, so I'll just tell it to you like this. There's a lot of things they can do in packages where they have Ezekiel Elliott on the field at the same time with Tony Pollard and CeeDee Lamb. Those are 3 guys that can all take short passes and turn them into huge gains. And there's a lot of stuff you can do with motioning them, moving them, bunching them together around the line of scrimmage that just is not like your typical, Jason Garrett offensive years past, almost more of like what you've seen in the college game, where just higher percentage throws on tunnel routes, things like that can turn into big gains. And so, there's definitely be more wrinkles like that than we've seen in previous years.
Well, so they won't be predictable. Man, what a change of pace that will be for Cowboy fans. John, before we let you go, one quick question on the defensive side. With the loss of Gerald McCoy, Stephen Jones said the other day that Tristan Hill was coming along nicely and, had a rough rookie year, but his second year seems to be going better. Is that Stephen blowing smoke, or have you actually seen improvement out of Tristan Hill?
Yeah, it's funny you say it, because while I hear Stephen talk like that and Jim Tomsula spoke of him glowingly, I can't say that just me watching these practices, I would say that he is considerably better than in previous years. I will say that he's getting a lot more opportunities, and it's not like he doesn't look like he doesn't belong or anything like that. But when you hear Stephen talk or Jim Tomsula, you're sitting there and you're like, oh, so like you're expecting like a major impact from him. Whereas like I kind of look at it as, I think he's moved to a position where he can be a solid rotational player, but I don't know that he's going to be, one of your starting tackles right now. With McCoy going down, I look at it more of that opens up even more opportunity for Tyrone Crawford to kind of move into that role, at least with the first unit. And then Tristan Hill will be part of that group that works in with Don Terry Poe and Neville Gallimore. So he's part of the rotation. I think that, it seems like he's buying in, and that's obviously a big step compared to the way it was last year. I just don't know if anyone should be like expecting him to all of a sudden be like, 8 to 10 sacks or something like that. But I see him being in the rotation, and it seems like he's ready to take on a bigger role. I just don't know how big of a role that's going to be.
Time will tell. He's John Machota. Check his stuff at The Athletic. Follow him on Twitter at John. That's JONMACHOTA. John, thank you so much for joining us today, man. Take care of yourself. Stay safe.
You too. Anytime.
John Machota of The Athletic right here on ESPN San Antonio. Don't forget, it's an injury update kind of a day at 6 o'clock. We're talking injuries with Dr. D, Dr. Thomas D. Berardino of the Sports Institute over at TSAOG Orthopedics. Hang on. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
You know, it is almost 6 now. You're getting hungry, trying to figure out dinner. Maybe it's a late night snack or even lunch. When you're craving wings, Wingstop now delivers. Go to wingstop.com and get that great flavor delivered right to your door. At Wingstop, they're continuing to feed your wing crave through carryout and delivery. Even have the option for no contact delivery, so you can count on Wingstop for classic and boneless wings, 11 mouthwatering sauces, and dry rubs freshly made just for you. Wingstop brings the flavor. It's their thing, and you can order online at wingstop.com or even off of the Wingstop app. Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings.
No Justin Bieber bump music here. Stop it! Knock it off! San Antonio sports leader. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM. All day, every day.
Indeed knows a lot of small businesses took a hit recently and are busy trying to figure out plans for the future. So if you're hiring, it means finding the right people is more critical than ever before. Indeed will help you find the quality candidates you need while only paying for what you need. Claim your $75 credit to get more quality candidates fast when you post your first job at Indeed.com/high-impact. That's Indeed.com/high-impact. Terms and conditions apply.
Injuries happen even during a crisis. When they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, sports injuries, dislocations, and sprains and strains. With 2 locations, they have extended hours Monday through Saturday, on-site x-ray, casting, and bracing. Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury with no urgent care or emergency room copay. Injured? Get to Ortho Now. Visit TSAOG.com/Ortho Now for more information. You're ready for some football, and when training camp's underway, I know we definitely are close, and I have the perfect crunch that'll get you back in the snacking game. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds have the bold flavors you want, like Korean kimchi barbecue, cilantro lime, and more. Eat these low-carb bacony bites right out of the bag or crush them in low-carb recipes. Get them at H-E-B and go to southernrecipesmallbatch.com for your buy 2, get 1 coupon. Southern Recipe Small Batch. It's a different kind of rind.
The die-hard batteries you know and trust are now at Advance Auto Parts. That means all the reliability, durability, and power you expect now come with free testing, free installation, and the unrivaled expertise of Advance team members. And you don't even need an appointment. When it's time to hit the road, stop by Advance Auto Parts to start strong with a die-hard battery. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
What's it like to sleep on a Casper mattress with new AirScape cooling technology? Imagine sleeping on a cloud with a light tropical breeze. AirScape is our one-of-a-kind cooling system inside Casper mattresses. It lets air move through and keeps heat out, so staying asleep is easy and breezy. Just like that. Try a Casper mattress with the AirScape this summer. If you don't sleep cooler, we'll pick it up and refund you everything. That's the Casper 100-night trial. Try it today at Casper.com.
My name is Kate Courtley, and this is my new show, Can You Survive This Podcast? I'll be drawing on my years as a former Navy SEAL platoon commander, sniper, and CIA contractor. The show is designed to teach you techniques that will increase your chances of survival if you happen to find yourself or your family in any life-threatening disaster scenario imaginable. Subscribe and listen for free on Apple Podcasts. Can You Survive This Podcast?
Everyone loves Rico's nachos, but not everyone enjoys them in exactly the same way. If you're a natural-born risk-taker, you're a nacho high roller. You go all in when it comes to your nachos. To win big at snack or mealtime, you bet it all on crispy nacho chips, cheesy molten goodness, and spicy jalapenos. With Rico's Nachos, you're always a winner. Rico's Nachos are available at H-E-B, Walmart, and other grocery and club stores. For more info, go to ricos.com. Rico's, how to nacho.
Ready for a positive 2020 surprise? Here's one from Diamonds Direct. The return of our best offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing. Yes! Starting Monday the 31st, backed by popular demand. Pick any item. Get the amazing value price Diamonds Direct is known for. Pay nothing down and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. And you can even finance the sales tax. Fine jewelry has never been more affordable. 5 years, 0 interest on anything and everything starting September 1st at Diamonds Direct. Get details, directions, and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
Having dry skin is a struggle. Turns out my body wash was the problem. So I tried new Olay skincare-inspired body wash with vitamin C, collagen, and hyaluronic acid, which improves skin 3 times better versus the leading body wash after 14 days based on clinical moisture retention. And now help stop dry skin before it starts with new Olay Rinse-Off Body Conditioner. Find new Olay skincare-inspired body wash online or in stores. Try Olay Body today.
The Camera Exchange is open for in-store and curbside. Shopping for a Nikon? The Camera Exchange has them. Check out the all-new Nikon Z5, designed for creativity and ease of use, perfect for entry-level photographers. Or the versatile Nikon Z6 or Nikon Z7 mirrorless cameras that allow you to take great photos and 4K video. Depending on your photography needs, these Nikons are perfect and come with a Nikon limited warranty. The Camera Exchange, 1 mile inside Loop 410 on San Pedro. Online at camerax.com.
Hey, this is Joseph Newgarden. As a 2-time IndyCar Series champion, I love that we're all getting back in our cars and back on the road, stopping at all the places we missed most. And to keep us going between those stops, there's Shell. Stop in to fill up with their best fuel ever. Save with the Fuel Rewards program. And to get snacks and essentials that can save you even more at the pump. That's just a few of the ways Shell helps you make the most of the stop you need to make. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
And now another edition of Obvious News from Geico. A study says that soft talkers do not make great radio personalities. We asked local librarian Steve Sage about this, and here's what he said.
Honestly, I don't buy it. I think I make very captivating radio.
Also in Obvious News, Geico makes it easy to save money and easy to manage your policy with the Geico app. So switching is a really smart decision. How does Steve feel about this?
I love the Geico app. I use it all the time.
That's Obvious News from Geico.
Obvious News. Hi, this is Hall of Famer Mike Haynes, San Antonio sports leader, 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
KZTC San Antonio. Jason Minix, Rob Thompson, The Blitz.
It is The Blitz. You are on ESPN San Antonio. He is Jason Minix. I am Rob Thompson. He is James Pledger. Welcome aboard. We got a shortened show tonight. The baseball gods offered the Rangers a win. They took down the A's yesterday. Tonight they get them once again. Texas Rangers baseball brought to you by GPS of Texas. Pregame will get going about 6:30. First pitch just a little after 7 o'clock, and you can catch all your Rangers games right here on ESPN San Antonio. We're eagerly awaiting Dr. D. He might have been called into a medical emergency, and until he does, I'm intrigued by what's going on in the soccer world. Do we have him? Is Dr. D here? Hey, that's huge news. Let's welcome aboard Dr. D. Thomas D. Berardino joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. Doc, how's your day going?
We're doing good. We're doing high school physicals, like pre-participation physicals for the San Antonio Academy, Christian Academy. So that's good.
A lot of turn your head and coughs.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, we're orthopods, so that may not go so well. No, we're doing all the curses.
What exactly are you working on, Doc?
We've got right now. We've got. That's right. We've got FP Sports Docs. We got the whole team here, so that's good. Yeah, we're doing the orthopedic extremity part and head, neck, knees, shoulders, and.
When I was in high school down at South San Antonio West Campus High School, the home of the Fighting Cougars, once again, we would have our, our start of the season physicals, and we would all line up. All the team would line up like in a row, and we'd all, drop trowel, stand there, and the doc would go one after the other, kind of doing the checks. And the doc was about 80 years old, and he would always make comments like, "Has that one always been bigger than the other? Is that one?" Going down. Like, hey, you might want to have that mole looked at. And everybody's turning around like, what?
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, let's dive into the world of sports injuries, and certainly on the NBA front, injuries are starting to play a major role. As we've got a couple of injuries, one that we're going to be dealing with tonight. Kristaps Porzingis out with a right knee issue. When you hear this, and a guy of his size, are you concerned about long-term effects? Is he going to be available sooner or later?
So you actually worry about an overuse kind of injury, honestly. It probably has something to do with cartilage and the meniscus, and he's just starting to swell up on him, and it's going to be a long-term thing that's going to keep bearing its ugly head. It usually doesn't, bear well for the long term in these kind of situations. Once you get a big fat swollen knee, it doesn't swell for no reason. It swells for a discrete reason. They just have to figure it out, and they will. They'll figure out exactly what's wrong.
Question is, will it be in time to help the Mavericks move on in the playoffs? I don't think it's the same concern for Portland. They look all but done, and Dame Lillard is got a right knee issue. He's going to have a second MRI. He had his first MRI, but they said the results were inconclusive. Is that just because too much swelling, which indicates things are really bad?
Well, sometimes it's, there can actually be a lot of reasons for inconclusive. I mean, I just had one today. They can move a little bit sometimes, and there's a little motion artifact, and they may think they see something, but it doesn't corroborate on different cuts, because we can kind of digitally slice the knee in different planes. And if you don't see it on the front view and then the side view, you kind of go, well, is that real? And then it begs the question, maybe we should just repeat it with a higher strength magnet, because you get better clarity. It's like a TV. You want a 4K TV, not an old tube TV. So it gives you better clarity, and that's maybe what they're thinking about.
Really? I had no idea you could get even more intense with a bigger battery on an MRI. I'm learning something as we sit. Now, staying in the basketball world, Doc, the only thing that I think the Lakers are afraid of right now is injury, as we saw them kind of turn things around, though a lot of it was done without Anthony Davis. And when you mention Anthony Davis and you start talking back spasms, that's got to be a bit of a concern, though we don't really know whether there's an injury or his rest or just whatever the issue is. But when you hear back spasms and a big man like that, that's kind of a concern. What would normally lend itself to causing the spasms?
What would limit it? Or cause
well, what would cause this? I mean, if it's is it sciatica, or can you just get the spasms because, quite frankly, they're playing a lot of basketball back to back and he's just worn out?
You can just get a muscular strain, and it's the whole latissimus complex, the lat we call it, the pull down muscle that you use. If you're a big long guy and you come down just a little twisted up, and you pull your latissimus or the paraspinal muscles, all those big strong muscles, you use those to sit, to stand, to breathe deep, to run and jump and do you can't give them a rest, really. So you can really knock yourself out of commission just with a muscular tendinous kind of strain, and not really hurt the actual spine or the discs that we worry about with a nerve injury. So I don't think he's got a nerve injury. I think there'd be more clarity in some of the injury descriptions, although they do love being vague at first, obviously.
Well, yeah. And it's interesting because, Rajon Rondo dealing with the same thing. I thought he was going to be able to get back sooner rather than later. Of course, he hasn't played since March, and suffered injuries coming back. He's got back spasms now. Is that just, because he hasn't played in so long, maybe overdid it in his return to practice?
No, we worry about that. A lot of these leagues that have this quick start and rapid acceleration back to game ready, at least on paper game ready, but physically maybe not so game ready. So we're going to see a lot more of these overuse injuries all around the professional leagues, and we're going to see in college too, because you couldn't do your normal workouts. It's a different world as we're all living in, and we know, and you rapidly progress, and you say, well, we had 6 weeks before, we're going to do it in 3. The body doesn't necessarily agree with that plan all the time, and some of them that are living on the fringe of success and failure from a physiologic standpoint fail.
I think you're describing me. Ben Roethlisberger, he also lives on the edge. The Pittsburgh Steelers certainly had arm issues for a while. He came out and said that he'd been dealing with pain for 13 or 14 years, and he had a small tear in there. I say that in quotes. What would the tear be in there that he could play with the amount of pain that he's dealt with for 13 or 14 years and finally get it fixed and feel a little bit better? What tendon can you play with torn and deal with pain, but no loss of velocity?
So that's interesting. So unlike a pitcher, a football throwing mechanisms is completely different. So a quarterback specifically is throwing the ball all the time versus a baseball fastball pitcher can have a UCL injury and kind of play with it. So it makes sense just numerically that he more likely than not has some sort of UCL sprain, the old Tommy John surgery. But as a quarterback, you can get away with a little bit of a partial tear or chronic sprain in that ligament because the mechanism of throwing is completely different than a pitch, so to speak. So you can get by with that. And I bet that's probably more likely than not what he has just from a numerical standpoint, looking at the numbers of things that you heard as a football quarterback.
He is Dr. Thomas D. Berardino with the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. We do the update every week. We can bring you the knowledge. Dr. D, thanks for filling in a pinch. Have a great week, man. Take care of yourself.
My pleasure. All right.
Dr. Thomas D. Berardino. We didn't get a chance to ask him about Army coming down. He worked with the Naval Academy there for a while. Army coming to San Antonio, play UTSA. And by the way, you've been talking up Navy possibly going undefeated this year. I read an article today about Army going undefeated. That December the 12th game, of which we might or might not be there, I'm questioning whether it'll happen, could be a battle of the unbeatens.
It possibly could be. Both are going to be good, but as they say, go Navy. Beat Army.
Beat Army once again. Hey, we come back. Let's look at the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to put a bow on the show. Get ready for some Texas Rangers, Oakland A's baseball. But the Dallas Cowboys safety is a primary issue. Let's look at what the Cowboys have to work with without an Earl Thomas coming back. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
If you have issues at the house with your plumbing or your AC, there is one company to call, and that is Quartermoon Plumbing, Heating, and AC. 210-651-5899. At Quartermoon, they are experts at worst-case scenarios. Big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. At Quartermoon, they do not have commissioned sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions. They have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau, and they are green certified. I've used them for years, when I've had plumbing issues at the house and been on their maintenance plan with my AC unit for a long, long time. They're fantastic to work with. Call them 210-651-5899, 651-5899, or online at quartermoonplumbing.com.
The Texas Rangers play right here.
This is Joey Gallo of the Texas Rangers, your home for the Texas Rangers baseball. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Brought to you by GPS of Texas, gpsoftexas.com.
Nobody beats the low prices at Mother's Window Tint, your car, stereo, and auto security headquarters. Nobody beats our prices on high-quality performance window tint and expert installation. It's essential to protect yourself and your family from the sun's hot rays and car thieves. Save $100 off regular winter prices when you purchase the Mother's Window Tint and Alarm package. This is a deal. Save $100 off our regular winter prices now at the start of summer. Limited to stock on hand. For 36 years, Mother's Window Tint, home of the Tint and Alarm Special. Want to make your car go thump, 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 mother thump? Premium car stereos on sale. Sony, Kicker, JVC, JBL, Diamond, Kenwood, Memphis Audio, all on sale. GPS, remote start systems, all on sale. Save $100 on the Mother's Window Tint and Alarm Special. Nobody beats the low prices at Mother's Window Tint, your car, stereo, and auto security headquarters. Mother's Window Tint, home of the Tint and Alarm Special. Remember, do it at Mother's and save.
Nobody plans on getting arrested, but it happens. Get out of jail fast by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. Call AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans and are open 24/7. Call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com. License number 149.
Indeed knows a lot of small businesses took a hit recently and are busy trying to figure out plans for the future. So if you're hiring, it means finding the right people is more critical than ever before. Indeed will help you find the quality candidates you need while only paying for what you need. Claim your $75 credit to get more quality candidates fast when you post your first job at Indeed.com/high impact. That's Indeed.com/high impact. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're a bacon lover, I've got great news for you. This is Michael Kilbasa with Kilbasa Smoked Meats. Our authentic dry-cured bacon is now available at grocery stores near you. We make it the old-fashioned way with the finest pork bellies in our legendary spice blend. We don't pump it full of water or chemicals like other brands. All you get is thick, savory slices of delicious bacon. I hope you'll give it a try, and if it's not the best bacon you've ever eaten, I'll give you your money back. Kilbasa Smoked Meats, slow-crafted in Texas since 1949.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So what do you provide? Cookie cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
AA Best Bail Bonds presents ESPN San Antonio's Dallas Cowboys Training Camp coverage. Sponsored by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, Ewald Kubota, and Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys.
AA Best Bail Bonds Dallas Cowboy Training Camp coverage continues to you. Cowboys,
Bless you.
Excuse me. That one jumped right out of there. That's why we have these sneeze buttons. We got to hear a lot from Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones over the last couple of days. And McCarthy certainly has a job to do in putting together this offense and defense. And we've talked for days and months about the safety position and the chase for Jamal Adams and the look in the draft and the availability of and he comes in. And when you have an Earl Thomas available to me, it seems like it's just crazy that nothing has happened. But maybe there's enough in the stable where they're not concerned about that. We weigh that against what we heard yesterday, Jason, that the Cowboys are running their safeties through a variety of groups. One's not, if you're a one, doesn't mean you're playing with the ones. They're trying everybody. And Darian Thompson seems to have lacked Clinton Dix. Hearing that, it's not like Darian's a rookie and we didn't know what we had. This is a 5-year pro. And you hear that hasn't measured up. If it's not Earl Thomas, do you think it'll be somebody else? Or are they just going to ride with this because the Cowboys just, quite frankly, hate to pay safeties?
They hate to pay safeties. And the idea is what they have now is still an upgrade over Jeff Heath. And so if Jeff Heath could play for as long as he did, and Jeff Heath wasn't an awful player, don't get me wrong.
No, he wasn't terrible.
But he wasn't the game changer that an Earl Thomas would be. But when you look at what Jeff Heath got paid from the Raiders, and you go, the Cowboys aren't going to do that. And then you look at the baggage that Earl Thomas brings with him, you wonder how viable it is. If his price tag comes down some, then maybe he does end up with the Dallas Cowboys. It would make sense for him to end up with the Dallas Cowboys. And the fact that you had Jerry Jones basically saying an NFL Network report that the Cowboys were not interested, Jerry Jones saying that Ian Rappaport was dead wrong, that he knows. He's the only one that knows. But right now, there's still no movement there. Maybe it's Mike McCarthy saying, you know what, I don't want to deal with that kind of a headache. And again, issues in Seattle, issues in Baltimore that cost him a job. For a great player, are you worth the headache? And, I believe it was Pledger the other day that compared him to Antonio Brown. Great player. Is he worth the headache? Terrell Owens, Hall of Famer, but went through 3 different teams. With a new coach in this weird offseason, you evaluate the dude's personal off-the-field decision-making over the summer, and you go, I don't know that we want to bring this guy into the locker room, even if he does make our team better on the field. Is going to create issues in other areas. In other words, how satisfied are they right now with their safety position? They're certainly not desperate. Is there interest in Earl Thomas? Jerry Jones on 105.3 The Fan, doing his interview on the practice field while wearing a mask, says, yeah, there's interest.
I haven't visited personally with Earl. I don't know that anybody has, but that would probably be a next step. If we're at a point where we need to sit there and activate this thing.
Jason, I have a question for you. Does it feel like it's possible that Jerry is all in on Earl Thomas, that he is the guy that he's coveted for a couple years and he sees a bargain? And is it possible that Stephen Jones, the official talent acquirer, and Will McClay, the brains of the operation, are saying, this is a bad idea, man, don't do this? But Jerry's holding taut going, if I can make a deal here, what are y'all talking about? Because it seems like we're getting two different messages.
Well, I think, from Mike McCarthy, his message is pass the buck up to the guys in the front office. But he certainly isn't campaigning for an Earl Thomas, which, again, if they don't get him, you can't upset the guys that are in your room. You figure a guy like Xavier Woods might have a little insight on where the Earl Thomas situation is because he shares an agent with Earl Thomas, and they probably become the starting safeties if the Cowboys were to sign them. But I think there's one thing that you're hanging your hat onto that we don't know is true, and that's, are you getting Earl Thomas at a bargain? And, just because he's unemployed doesn't mean he's going to be cheap. Last year he became a free agent, and it's not like he signed instantly. And we thought the Cowboys were going to be in the market for him because he said he wanted to be here. Jamal Adams wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy, but the price tag was too high. So, maybe Jerry is hoping that the price comes down. And if it does come down to a certain range, then Stephen and Will McClay would be on board, but not for the price that he's at right now.
When we talk the Dallas Cowboys, remember Miller Lite is the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. We got some great swag going on right now that you can win. Easy to do. Go to ESPNSA.com, click on the Dallas Cowboy Training Camp icon. There you can get yourself signed up. We've given away hats and shirts, a tumbler prize pack. We got this awesome metal icebox that is certainly worthy. Cornhole sets, all can be won. Just ESPNSA.com, get yourself registered. I can't help but think, as we have heard more and more about how well Aldon Smith has played, and even though Gerald McCoy is gone, that the front four are better than expected, so it might take some pressure off the back two. So maybe you don't need to invest in much because there is a belief that they can get to the quarterback and protect an underskilled safety position. Do you buy into that possibility at all, or is this just this is the team we planned on and this is the team we're going to school with?
It's the team they planned on. It is the philosophy of the Dallas Cowboys. They've never spent a lot of money on the safety position. They like them war daddies, as Jerry has called them before. Get to the quarterback, create some bad passes, but they don't create a lot of turnovers. And they've got to figure out ways to get takeaways. And like you do every year in training camp, you hear the Cowboy coaches, and quite frankly, every coach, whether you're talking about your high school team or your college team, or your NFL team, they all talk about trying to create takeaways, and the stats are out there. You get a takeaway and you get that extra possession. And, if you get a takeaway at a certain part of the field, you're almost guaranteed a field goal. All those things are there. It's all talk. And it's everybody's philosophy, but the fact is the Cowboys haven't been good recently at getting takeaways, but they still don't seem to be interested in paying for a top-notch safety that could help the back end, because you would think that if you're getting pass rush there and getting a hurried pass or a check down pass, then a ball hawking safety is going to get an Oski.
I live in fear of week one watching Robert Woods streak down the middle with no over the top help for a deep touchdown, because quite frankly, the Cowboys decided not to invest in a position that might become more important as the days goes on. It just seems very strange to me, yet we continue to talk the conundrum that Jerry is. I just am astounded that the dude has fallen into the lap. The apple is fresh and available right there in front, yet we quibble about, well, maybe he's not getting along with his friends, and maybe he won't be a good one in our locker room. This is a Hall of Famer, for heaven's sakes. It can happen.
He is a Hall of Famer, but is he still a Hall of Famer? And, that's where you're at right now. I mean, at some point, he's going to get a job. I am surprised that he is not mulling offers right now. And maybe if he was, the Cowboys would be there. But how much do the Cowboys and Jerry value the safety position?
As to how much you have invested in other positions on the team. We have our offensive line than a lot of teams do. So it's all balance. I'll never forget when I first bought the Cowboys, I had a rider ride with me back over to my home in Arkansas, as we have it. And I was on a jet plane, and when I landed, a 5-year-old Bronco, muddy at that, I'd had it hunting, drove up and picked me up. And the guy said, "This doesn't make sense, Mr. Jones. How you're flying a jet and driving a 5-year-old muddy Bronco?" And I said, "It makes all the sense in the world. You can't have it all. Something's got to give. So the way you fly jets, drive a 5-year-old muddy Bronco. That'll help you get it done."
And so that was Jerry.
Just like my life.
The fan earlier. I mean, that's it. You got so much money that you can spend with the salary cap, and you position group out. All right, we're investing here. We're investing here. We're investing here. We're investing here. We're not investing there. It's, and again, that's when he bought the Cowboys and basically spent everything he had to be able to get them. So he had the private jet, but the 5-year-old muddy Bronco. It's just like, when you see the really expensive car in certain neighborhoods and you go, really? Some things, don't always add up. Your priorities, and his priority is not spending a lot of money on a safety. He's not going to have Hulu, Netflix, and Apple. He's not going to get all the subscriptions. He's going to live without one.
$80,000 pickup at a $70,000 house, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
The other side of that, hey, your Dallas Cowboy training camp coverage continues. We'll have it on the hour all through Dallas Cowboy training camp. Brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, Ewald Kubota, and Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. The NBA is in full fledged. It is Utah 40-38 as we sit right now. Later tonight, you'll have the Dallas Mavericks go off without Porzingis. Can Luka do it again? And can Kawhi turn things around? It's going to be an interesting night watching the NBA. I put it to you, the winner of tonight's Mavericks-Clippers game will win the series.
I agree with you there. And there's also great hockey on. Boston and Tampa Bay right now just underway. Boston up 1-0 and already one hell of a fight in that hockey game. So flip over and watch some hockey today too.
GPS of Texas is bringing you the Rangers. They're coming up next. Thanks for hanging with us. This has been the Blitz.
We need to wear masks. You want to have football season, wear your mask. You need a mask, get into Sammy's Embroidery Club on San Pedro. Sam has all your mask needs. If you're in the medical field, working at a dentist's office, a doctor's office, hospital, urgent care center, Sam has the surgical medical mask KN95s and disposable surgical masks that are certified FDA and CDC approved. In fact, Sammy has been supplying masks for the city, the county, surrounding counties, even the state of Illinois. He is an approved vendor. If you need the washable, reusable cloth mask, Sam has those as well. Variety of sizes and colors, even has used sizes. If you're a business owner and you want your logo on them, Sam can do that for you as well with a minimum order of 25. Check the website, samsembroidery.com, or get into that massive showroom on San Pedro, a mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's. Or call Sam. He's the owner, and he's waiting for your phone call, 210-824-3900 for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
AA Best Bail Bonds presents ESPN San Antonio's Dallas Cowboys training camp coverage. Sponsored by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, Ewald Kubota, and Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. Log on to ESPNSA.com for all the latest and tune into the Blitz.
This ESPN San Antonio Sports Center update's brought to you by